simply to undermine their credibility. And then this all comes out about Nixie. And all this has happened in just the past 3 days, or pardon me, 3 weeks, right? What I find interesting is this. Let me pull it up. Someone went into Peterson's server a few days ago announcing that I'm going on a witch hunt and that all the guys in STEM need to like take me down. That's what I find really weird. I find really weird that not too long ago, only a couple of days ago, someone literally went into Peterson's Discord and said Eric Peterson is an honorary part of the Kraken crew like Nixie and Bod. What are the odds that three men would all be accused of some really messed up stuff all within a 3 week period and all of them are like connected? What's up, Nutka?
Huh?
You asked to be brought up?
Oh, I thought it would be easier for receipts or something because then the it doesn't go into the comments.
Oh no, 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 no. This one is fine. I got it. Don't worry about it. But thank you.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate
Then
it.
I do want to say something.
Oh shoot, go for it.
I'm just so thoroughly fucking disgusted by all of those people in that previous live. Like, I'm
Right?
literally gonna like anyway, I'm gonna drop, but that's
No,
so
no, don't,
fucking
because like
disgusting.
it's genuinely real how despicable they were talking, what they were saying, how they were dismissing claims. Like all they have to do is do nothing at all. Like all they have to do is shut up.
Truly.
But they're
Yeah.
literally up there saying, I disbelieve this person until X, Y, or Z. And it's like, it's been 12 hours, bro.
I know. And then he's like, it's a hanging and he's getting crucified. Like, what in the fuck? Oh, okay. Nuka, tell him to check Discord and play
Yeah,
my
I
clip.
I get it. I see it, Tubes. You got to give me
Okay.
some time. I'm like flipping over
Um,
to.
yeah. And the fact that they're just like, oh, like, I just stay away from women now. Like, I mean, great, please do. But then why are you coming up in this panel to discredit people and to act like you're so scared of being accused? It could happen to anybody. No, just don't be an asshole.
But they also make it seem like being accused like destroys them. It
Yeah,
like that's what pisses me off. It's like,
like it's
no, it
worse
doesn't.
than what we are scared of, which is like being unalived or worse, raped.
And,
It's
and
just
then
so
you had that one
sickening.
guy who was up there who said, "I was accused once, and it almost ruined my life." So you mean it didn't ruin your life? Is
Yeah,
that what you mean?
it
It
means,
didn't ruin your life? Like you had this
yeah.
stupid fear it could ruin your life, and it didn't. So what are you complaining about?
And like the only reason you're so scared is because it's probably true and it should ruin your life, but it didn't.
Exactly.
And that's what we're here for.
Yeah. So here's Shubity ask. You know what pissed me off as well is when the guy said, like, "What do you want, Irish? There's lots of men in bars right now who are lying in order to get laid." And it's like, yeah, why is that a good thing? Why are you normalizing that? Why are you making it sound like that's not a big deal? Like that's just
It's
not cool. Like I'm the first person to admit I'm a very schmexual person. I don't lie to people. I don't let people think that like I'm monogamous. I don't let people think that if they show me a hoo-ha that I'm going to get married with them. I don't let people think that I'm in a relationship with them. I don't do that. I don't you don't have to do that.
yeah, it's not that hard. Like I don't get what you're so scared of. Like you can't control your actions. Like boys will just be boys and stay little bitch ass boys forever. Yeah, whatever. Do better. It's not that hard.
It's just what is always
And
astonishing.
it
Sorry,
starts
go
with
ahead.
just listening. Like actually just listening. And I don't know, maybe there is something to this whenever there's so many women coming forward.
What
Like,
I what I just don't understand is like it's almost always ugly guys who are doing this kind of thing. And like I don't consider myself an attractive man. I've said this 1,000 times. I think I'm like a 3 to 4 out of 10, right? But you don't have to be a good-looking guy in order to get laid. That's what's so weird to me about these guys, that they justify or minimize lying in order to get in some person's pants. Like, have they ever tried just saying, "Hey, I find you really attractive. Do you want to have sex?" Like, have they ever just tried being direct for a second?
Yeah, and also like why is sex always the goal? Like,
Pumpkin.
why can't
Well,
you just be a normal human being and be like, "Oh, you seem like an interesting person. Like, let's go." Like, because they're all old and gross. So it's like, yeah, you kind of have to lead with
oh, trust
personality.
me, there's a lot of young and gross who support this stuff as well. To the people who just asked, Pumpkin just asked this question. Professor Nixie, I'm not even fully aware of the allegations. What I do understand is 17 women have come forward and said that he was emotionally manipulating them and lying to them in order to keep them quiet and to gain sexual favors. And what I know is, yeah, 17. And what I know is that upon those allegations coming out last night, Nixie, who has almost a million followers, simply deleted his TikTok. And I think that's where my problem is if Nixie isn't even willing to defend himself, why is everyone else rushing to defend him? Like, that's what doesn't make sense to me. Why are they bending over backwards to defend a man who literally pieced out? But anyway, let me play this quick video from these men of science who
Like
are
and share the
talking.
live.
Yeah, who are talking. Let me just shrink you down, though. Hang on a second. God, I hate that it's not that intuitive. All right, hold on one sec.
Like and share and gift and spam stuff about the TikTok shop. Let's fucking,
Okay, there we go.
I don't know,
So,
make these guys' days even worse.
yeah, especially Blitz, who ignored all the fair questions I asked him and turned around and simply said, "Stop harassing me." Dude, I'm not harassing. Like, the way you, it's what's crazy to me is he over exaggerates what I'm doing to him. I'm harassing him, but his friend endangering minors and being spicy with minors is not a big deal. It just seems a little two-faced to me. All right, so let me play this video that Shoobs wanted me to play. Come on. Okay, there we go. All right, ready? Here we go.
Anything they want to add? Like Deep Sky, dude, you got something you want to add here?
Yeah, it came up because there was a lot of nonsense being said. I am one of the individuals who multiple victims have come to personally.
When did they come to you?
Yes, multiple women.
When did they come to you?
When? Okay, listen, I'm here to speak what I was told and what I can divulge, and I'm not here to answer Wookiee or anyone else's questions, okay? So you're going to listen to me or you're going to boot me, I don't care.
But
It was asked you when, you jerk.
Yeah, just tell us.
but
Anything
they
want to add?
claim
Like Deep Sky, dude, you got something
they
you want to add
claim they
here?
want to hear the information. But then they kick the one person who wants to share the information. All right.
Yeah,
Like,
it came up.
that's a weird choice. So let me put up this background again. My problem is, I love how one of the guys in this live was saying that Irish started all of this. Irish is the one to blame for all of this because he started on Peterson, now he's on Blitz, and now people are coming from Nixie. And it's like, why did your friends not start this? Why are you guys not accepting that your friends were engaged in bad behavior? I'm not saying behavior where they deserve to be like unalive. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, why are you not pointing your fingers at your guy friends and being like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that, dude? Like,
Hmm.
why did you do that? Like, that was wrong of you. You should, step forward, take accountability, say you're sorry, and commit to change.
Like they don't even think about that. Like there's not even like, whoa, Wow. They're just like, yeah, it's a good thing he nuked his account. He's going to lawyer up, and I hope all the evidence comes out and we can look at it and we'll see when he's acquitted. And it's like,
And that's
what?
again ignorant dudes who know nothing about how the legal system works. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
no way. Oh, Ernesto's on the panel. Let me flip over to that so we can
Okay,
watch.
then I'll stop personalizing.
Wait, I
How can we
can't
get him
see
here?
Ernesto.
Because people came onto the internet and asked for someone to believe their side of the story without telling their side of the story.
Hold on.
So I'm just responding to a request where somebody is asking the John Q public to believe a story, and if they don't believe the story, they're an asshole. And I think you're an asshole. Sorry.
That's fine.
We have right now is 17 women, unknown women, have said X. That's what we know. We're asking for more information.
So it's a number.
Right. No, so 17 women, 17. How many times? How many women?
Women said what?
How many women, Gen X, have accused you of anything?
So 17 women lied. He lied.
Gen X, how many women have accused you of saying something?
Two.
2. Is that 17?
What's it matter? Without knowing
Is
what
that
they
17 women?
Yeah, I have a question, right? Because I keep
What's it
hearing
matter if they don't know
17
what they
women.
said? What's it matter if they don't know what they said?
I keep hearing 17 unknown women. How are we counting them? How are we knowing it's 17, but no one knows that but you?
By that.
It's a hit job.
It's a hit job by his
No,
own
see, again,
boss.
that's
a
that
real
alone
question.
right there. Gen X is saying that you just don't want to believe, even with the just.
Listen,
You're making the same assumption that you're claiming everybody else is.
No, you guys want me to make an assumption in the other direction, and you don't like that I'm not. That's
No, I'm
that's-
not making. I didn't make an assumption. I'm just learning about this situation. I'm just
Gen X
hold on,
is
Gen X.
showing for
I'm
sure.
just learning about this situation. This is all fresh to me. But what I hear is 17 people. This is, and of course, I don't know this. I have no idea because I'm coming into this absolutely fresh, and I don't know Nixie either. But what I'm hearing is, hold on. So what I heard from this panel already, that there has at least been one person who has come out and been very public about it. Correct?
Okay, so Ernesto, do you mind if I clean up what's going on? I feel like that's just fair. I feel like you guys are on 2 different pages because you guys are like, I feel like you are assuming situation is a certain way, and I feel like
No.
Hold on, let me just.
I got it.
But
But if I could finish this line of conversation with him, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll let you finish if you let me, without talking over me, you let me reply.
Sure, I've only been talking over you because you've been talking over me.
No, you said something and I said something back, and then you went ape shit.
Okay, sure. Okay.
That's how it happened.
Yeah. So what I said was, according to what I've heard on this panel already, one person has come forward about Nixie lying, correct?
That's correct. As
Okay.
far as I know.
As far as you know, perfect. Because I don't know either. Okay. And now I don't know who's saying it, but again, according to this panel, 17 people, and nobody here knows it either, correct? But the word is 17 people, correct? That's what's out right now.
That's what you just told me. You said it like it was fact. So you tell me. You said it like it was fact.
I did not.
You did. You literally, your argument was based on 17 people.
The hearsay is 17 people.
Okay,
So,
so
yeah, that's the word is 17 people. Because I've already said, because I did not make it as fact. I already said I'm coming in this here as a clean slate. Okay, so if it's already been stated that one person has already pointed out that he's lied to them, and then now the word is coming out that 17 others. I'm not saying that I don't believe those 16 other people. If it was already proven that one has already, it's already been proven that the one was being upfront, was being honest.
The one hasn't been proven.
But that's the point. That the first person. Okay, so this is where I gotta interject because I feel like
Sure,
we're gonna
go
keep
ahead.
going down this thing, right? With the situation that at least from my understanding, right? So if I'm wrong, if anyone knows that I'm wrong, correct me. I don't want to be wrong about this, right? What I've understood is that Nixie and a person were exchanging pictures on, I think it was Snapchat or something, right? And so I've heard 16 different versions of the story where he was sending them unsolicited. Then I heard he was sending them unsolicited on TikTok, which you can't even do. Then I heard that they were both exchanging pictures, but he was lying to her, and he was essentially saying like she made it.
He was stringing her along. He was stringing her along.
And so from her point of view, like she was the important one, and then she found out like he's been talking to other girls while he's talking to her, which is wrong. I'm not saying that's not right, and all these different things, right? And so while on one hand, right, I still think that's messed up, right? I think if you're like talking to 16 different women or whatever, and you're stringing them all along, I think that's fucked up, right? However, for me to call someone a S predator, right, is a completely different feel, right? So now there's things saying that, like, I also want the evidence. I just want to know, is he sending them unsolicited? Is he doing something that is considered a
The
S
fucking
predator? Or is he
evidence.
just doing something that I think is fucked up?
Or is it a falling out? Is it a falling out? Or is this dude genuinely one of those things? You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, we have zero evidence. All we have is like, hey, there's these 17 people, but they're unknown. So I don't even know how the fuck we're counting them. Just one. That just doesn't make sense to me logically. Then we have people like I just want something, right? Like I don't want to just like I get the whole
he's
like
currently
you
live.
believe
Let
the
me show
victim,
you.
right? And I actually believe that. Like if a woman came to me right now and said, hey, this happened to me, I'm gonna do what I need to do. If I need to call the police for them, if I need to like talk to them, like I'm gonna act accordingly as if
This is not necessarily a police thing, dude. It's just a fucking
unfortunately, this is not
disgusting
a situation like that. This is a situation where we are in the
They're
court of
so
public opinion,
obsessed with
and
the police.
people who are going, well,
'cause
I
I
don't
think
know
the
what
cops
happened
solve
'cause
everything.
I wasn't there. They're being seen like, oh, like this is why like this happens because no one believes us, and it's like I get the sentiment, right? But we're not. If we didn't believe them, or if we thought like this is just bullshit, we would have heard the lie and then just said, oh, she's lying, kept it moving, right? This lie would have been about fucking flat Earth right now, but it's not. They're talking about what happened. We're giving it enough respect to say, okay, let's see what the
Oh, you're
fuck is
giving it
going on,
respect?
right? I don't understand the sentiment. Like, I need something. You cannot just say this person did something, especially on the internet, and I'm supposed to just throw them under the bus, figuratively speaking, and just be like, oh yeah, this person's telling the truth, 100%. I hear people in my DMs all the time saying,
So Irish,
hey, this person's this,
Yeah.
these
this person's
people,
racist, this person's
they
that. And if I had
literally
for every
hosted
DM
a
I've had that
live
says
for over
someone
an
else is
hour
right,
last night attacking the victims and calling them liars after they were told the truth.
The fuck is wrong with these guys?
Like, there have been 4 that I know of that have vocally come out and said something. I wouldn't name anyone else, but I have seen legitimate evidence of 17 victims. And I have talked to people who know victims, and like the way that they are defending Nixie is disgusting.
So what I'll say is this: like I don't want to in any way like center myself in any way with this, but if the women want to come to me, tell me what happened and use me to tell their facts, can you please let them know? I'm fully happy to do that. And I think Wasabi, I do that all the fucking time, because I think people don't have to out themselves. And it feels like these guys are saying they have to out themselves. And I feel as though like there's at least a lot of trust in me that if someone's coming to me and I'm representing they're saying X, Y, or Z, I think folk believe it. So like if that would be helpful, I'm more than happy to do so. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on calling out how these guys just keep making the grapiest culture arguments that I've seen so far. Like this has been a disgusting live.
Well, and I'll definitely forward those to you and forward the friends.
You can just let them know I'm happy to help. Like, don't pressure, don't push, don't any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I will. I'm glad you're talking about it, because like when it came out last night, there were several people that literally like yelled at the victims and told them they were horrible people for not coming forward. And yeah, they hosted a live, like I sent you a video of it.
In DMs or on Discord? I didn't see it.
Both. Well, no, I sent a picture. I sent a picture of an account that I have blocked that was in the live defending Nixie, and then I sent you a video of someone who recorded the live.
Got
And
it.
send
I'll
me
say it again. I
on
just think it's a
TikTok. I'm
little
not the only one to
weird
take this.
that I outed Peterson a couple of weeks ago.
Again, I
Just
sympathize.
for
I have
reference,
5 daughters.
I
I
outed
sympathize
Peterson
with
a
exactly
couple of
what
weeks
you're
ago.
saying, but I also,
Blitz came to his
if
defense, and
if
so did Nixie.
if the mob
And
comes to
Blitz now
the
has started making
town
false
square,
sex claims in
we just
order
have
to
to face
defend
it.
Peterson.
TikTok is the
And
town
now we
square,
have
and
Nixie
they
being
got
outed for
somebody by the
something.
arm and they want
This
to throw them down the
screenshot from
road
several,
straight
I
to
think
the
like a week ago, which I honestly took as sort of like
town
a
square right here.
nonsense,
Now the town
nothing
square is
statement.
asking questions, and
But when
you
they're
people
saying
are
Eric
saying,
is an honorary
no,
part of the
bad.
crew like
You
Nixie
can't
and
ask
Blitz,
questions.
what's the
That's the
odds
problem.
that all
That's
Tree Men's
why we live
name
in
would
a
be
in a
mentioned
bubble,
together as a
because
unit?
you
Like
can't
it's
shut
just it's
somebody's down
weird.
without proof.
Anyway,
Exactly.
listen,
You
let me
gotta
let
want to.
let me let Ernesto. I'll put
Did I
on
come up here to
Ernesto.
stretch anybody's neck, or was I coming up here to talk to you?
And to be fair, I don't think Ernesto was doing that
Yeah,
either.
because he
Fragile ego.
specifically said you people. He's trying to put me with anybody when I never did that.
So just like to summarize something real quick, just and I'll hop back down because I know there's other people who probably need this spot, right? I just think that it's fair to act accordingly. You know, give people who are claiming to be victims the help they need or whatever they need from us, right? However, it is unrealistic on any sense to just get blind belief. Like, and I say belief, I'm not talking about like are we gonna do something
fuck
about
is
it?
blind
I'm saying
belief,
blind
dude?
belief
But
of
they
like
blindly
I
believe this
think
other
it's
turd.
fair to want evidence. If they don't want to give you the evidence, hey, that's their prerogative. They don't have to. They're not entitled to give you evidence X, Y, Z. But you're also not entitled to just believe them blindly either.
You are entitled to believe them.
Oh wait, so Baron, I did to respond to you about the you can't send nude photos on TikTok. You're right. But there's also WhatsApp. There's a multitude of different apps
Right.
that you can.
Correct.
But
Right. So I can't just get. So I
Go ahead.
talk.
I apologize.
Right. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go on.
So I discussed this with my wife a little bit, and I said, here's the deal, you know, because I wanted a woman's opinion on it, you know, and I sort of her side on it. I want to say, hey, you know, this is where I stand, babe. You know, what do you think? She goes, well, what do you mean? They were sending back and forth. How did they get outside the app
I'm
of
sure he
TikTok?
gave her all the
She
information.
goes,
too.
look, if there's a man that's going to attempt to blackmail you with your pictures, he got those because you sent them to him.
And
Do you not
Victim
understand?
blaming.
You get what I'm saying here?
Why is he repeating this
No,
again?
I'm not excusing the behavior.
you're literally just excusing
We
it.
have to take responsibility for ourselves. That ain't nobody going to do it for you.
Unfortunately, that comment is blaming a victim. That wasn't the intent. It doesn't matter what the intent was. How they got.
You know what?
If somebody hold on, Mary, because what you just said was if that woman sent pictures
Stupid are these guys?
and somebody then turns around and wants to blackmail them with those pictures, she's at fault in some way, shape, or form.
She sent the pictures.
So?
That doesn't matter.
I'm not saying the behavior is okay. I'm saying if you would have never sent the picture, you don't send people you don't know naked pictures of yourself. Come on.
Who's
How old are
talking
you?
right now? Is that
Now,
the
where's
host?
this
Baron.
blackmail accusation coming from?
I don't know where the
Nothing
blackmail
about
accusation is coming from. I have no idea.
It was an analogy.
This guy in the middle, this guy here, he's done shit. I have no doubt
yeah.
that guy's done shit.
I'm not,
Yep.
Yep, same with
whatever.
end
My
of
life
days
goes
from
on.
earlier.
That's where I stand. That's how I feel about it. I'm not in here trying to disagree with everybody or disagree
Yes,
with
this is
everybody.
live.
That's my
This is
position.
douchebags live.
If it's a problem with me, then fuck it. The problem's me. What do you want me to do? I gotta still continue my life tomorrow. I'll probably die with these fucked up problems I have.
Well, how about shutting up, Baron? That would be cool.
Exactly.
I just feel like I just
He
want
can't
Just
shut up at
shut
this
up.
point. His ego has grown too large.
Of each other to each other, then to me,
And I'm gonna say, like,
that's not.
in Mike
that's not
Snow's
unsolicited
defense,
pictures, right?
he and I have been
That's all I
talking
care. I don't
about
care.
some of
I
these
mean, like, yeah,
issues
if he's doing something for Howard
for a few weeks now, and he's really struggling with being more enlightened than Baron is, being more enlightened than his mentor.
Well, Barron here made it very clear. Barron said, if I simply accept what these women are saying about that man, women could then come from for me and say the same thing. These men aren't protecting Nixie. they're protecting their self-interest. They're
Mm-hmm.
scared that they're going to be next. That's what's like they're telling on
Mm-hmm.
themselves. I
And
mean,
what's
his
funny is they're painting a target on their back right now because they are going
yeah,
to be
That's
next.
right. That's exactly right.
yeah. In
And
fact,
and
let's
Irish, I
And the
want to say
point I
thank you.
tried to make
Oh, I'm
is that
sorry.
women are not going to raise this kind of stink just because they're jealous, just because they got jilted. No grown adult woman has the time for that.
it just doesn't make any sense.
Irish, I want to say
And
thank you
oh, I'm sorry.
for jumping up in that
Okay.
panel and taking them to class. You joining that panel, I was about to hit request, and then I kept telling my wife I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to stay in the chat. And then some more things were being said, and especially after they booted you, my patience level dropped through the floor. And so, when I went up in there, the first thing they did was interrupt me in my first sentence.
We saw, we recorded it. We literally
Yeah.
played it. That
And
you'd come up there to share some of the details, a summary of what's going on, and they were like, when, and it's like, you weren't rude to them. You were like, I'm not up here to answer your questions. I'm up here to tell you guys something, and then they just dropped you. We played that video. It was disgusting.
yeah, and I've been approached by multiple victims, and I feel like it's time for me to break that silence, because for a long time I've been respecting those victims' wishes to chill out, let things, let them work on their side of things. And when they're ready, they will come out with with their truth. This isn't my
Wow, that
truth.
sounds very kind of you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I just was trying to do the best I could for friends, people that I call friends. And so all I could really do is listen and accept their position and wait. And now people like me, people like I Spaced Out, who had this information for a long time, are being, villainized because we respected the victim's wishes. And that's the most disgusting part to me, because we
And
were
because
doing.
That's
I
whose
mean,
live it
and
is for anyone else to look.
there's no directions for what you're supposed to do when this happens. It's
Exactly.
not like we got a handbook. I mean, we're supposed to report people to TikTok, but
Even if there was a handbook, I mean, you'd still be doing it all wrong.
exactly.
There's
So,
never a right way
in respect
to
to a
them.
quote handbook, on behalf of the women, I contacted RAIN, which is
Yeah.
in the U.S. our rape and abuse hotline network, and I got some specific recommendations from them, and it paved the way for there. I have links
Kenzie,
for how to report to the FBI, and I would encourage you, whether you think any crime was committed or not, even if you think you just spent too much money gifting him in lives, I don't fucking care. If he can give that money back to you, he probably should. So if
So
you've been victimized in that way,
I
I
think
will
that
get. I
Kenzie is
have.
on the panel. Sorry.
no, not
I
me.
have just a second. Let me just finish real quick. I have some links for how to report to the FBI. I also have some links for um, some cybercrime and cyberbullying tip lines. And if anyone feels the need that it must be escalated more than that, I have direct connections with the FBI.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
so
right now it seems pretty fresh for a lot of people who are coming forward, right? And they may want to do something. Unfortunately, I think a lot of women know at this point that going to law enforcement does nothing whatsoever. Like it's just, unfortunately, it's realistic, and I think that's why the vast majority of women don't come forward with this kind of stuff. I think that what is happening right now is, what we should focus on is, which is sort of like helping the women like get together, helping the women be able to coordinate, helping the women to like have access to resources, just like what you're suggesting as well. But I do think that more than likely, the only way this person's ever going to be held accountable is socially. From what I've heard of the allegations so far, anyway, I'm not sure. I haven't heard enough of the allegations to know if there was something that was criminal that was done. it seems like this is just a disgusting scumbag person so far, unless again there's something else I've not heard yet.
Hi, Irish and Nootka.
And
I just want to say it.
don't get it. And I just don't get why you guys can't just cut off individuals who are shitty people. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to just not associate
He is
yourself
cut
with
off.
people.
Yeah, he did get cut off. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Well, it's not
That
that hard to
shit-eating
not
grin.
defend them in public and keep your mouth shut. It's also not that hard to do that because you guys are sitting up here saying, "Oh, we can't believe one way or another without evidence." Blah blah blah.
You're asking for evidence.
Essentially taking his side.
That's
for
not
doing that.
unreasonable.
And that's what's insane.
Yeah, no, you're totally entitled to your opinion.
Like you guys are taking his side without even realizing it. And I thought you guys were against that. I thought you guys, didn't
I have 5 daughters.
one way or another, but that's what you're
I
doing.
have 5 daughters.
Through
Shut
saying
up.
all of this.
I don't remember hearing anyone taking any side.
And then also like the victim blaming
That's her
and
perception of it.
earlier, kind of insane. I don't know. It's just very interesting. I always think it's interesting whenever
Here's that thing
men
again.
bitch and moan about this type of shit and they get so pressed. Like, I don't know. Red flag.
Here's that thing again I was talking about, where if you don't agree that someone's going to come at you with some male fragility or masculine toxicity, this is the problem with this world. You guys want
What's the problem? That a woman's disagreeing with you?
Yeah, you guys want to pretend
Not everybody
like
up here
you
is
accept
male
it, but
problematic.
you don't accept the male's opinion on this. Men are giving you their opinion, and
Male
you just want to call
fragility.
it male frigidity and all this stuff.
So you're mad that I'm disagreeing with you.
Oh, 100%.
Is that what you're mad about?
No, 100%.
You're getting mad. Wait. But aren't you just, you're pointing out right now.
I think you're exactly proving my point, so I'm not mad at all.
I literally just have a differing opinion, and I'm telling you guys that, like, from the comments perspective, it just seems like it seems like a lot of bitching and moaning, and that's like what I'm calling out is that you guys are just bitching and moaning about nothing up here, nothing productive. There's not been a productive conversation that's happened up here. It's just bitching and moaning.
If any of you ever ask why she's my host, that's why.
Taking him to class right now.
Or maybe don't talk about something that you have no information on.
This is what do they call this? They call this misandry. They call this misandry.
Yeah, well, hang on, Janae. Hang on real quick here. So you're right. The information I was given was, hey, this dude is a sexual predator, and have you heard the news? I said, whoa.
You can be a sexual predator without even touching someone. A flasher is a sexual
And you thought the
predator.
appropriate course of action was to do that on
I know
public live?
Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's all public. Everything's public.
Did you hear the guy say, isn't this, what do you call this,
Yeah,
misandry?
I think so here's the thing.
Yeah.
I
Holy
think a
cow!
victim has the right
We
to go out
don't
publicly and
necessarily
say their
hate all
story
men
for
just
sure.
because we're
But
men.
people to comment on that
100%.
publicly, you guys have no right to comment on something
Yeah, this is
publicly
live.
that isn't affecting your life and has nothing to do with you. I don't know, it's just very weird.
Wasn't it
exact
said
same thing.
wasn't it said that nobody should reserve judgment until all of the evidence comes out? So is that actually agreeing with something or promoting it in any way, or are we just saying like
No, but why do you have to say your opinion out loud? That's the problem.
can't really
The
say
other
what
thing
it
is, they're
is
not
until we
reserving judgment.
But the
Yeah,
thing is
I'm
that
not
it's not
asking them to
single
condemn
line
Nixie.
without saying
I'm just saying,
nothing.
shut
So
up.
you're saying you're right.
Yeah,
You can't,
exactly.
as
Just
a,
shut up.
again,
Especially when these guys are not the guys that people went to with their problems.
Yeah.
They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what that feels like.
That you are blaming people who actually said, again, at least one person, I don't know how many, again, it's between one and however many, but at least one person that you guys have already said that it has been proven, you are discounting what she said. And Gen X decided to make it about about it's both people. Actually, Barron did the same thing. You both said, if you send pictures and they blackmail you, well, you shouldn't.
That was
That's
wild.
not what I know. That is not what I said.
That is exactly
I
what he said.
I don't think that's discounting
What I said.
discounting a victim if they're a victim.
Hang on, Pete. Let me butt this real quickly. What I said was when you decided to go off app and give this person naked pictures of yourself, that is 100% your responsibility. That does not excuse Nixie's behavior. It is
Absolutely.
What's your
to
responsibility?
blackmail someone. In fact,
If you
it's
gave it
against the law
consensually, you're
to
not
be
giving it
held
consensually to be
accountable
used
for that
against you.
if that took place. But the initial
Yeah.
story was he was blackmailing the victim.
Does the victim have Does the victim have any responsibility on that, on her pictures that yes,
That's the only
that
stance
they were
Barron has,
consensually sent
by
to
the
her?
way.
Does she have any responsibility for that blackmail?
No. No, that is 100%.
That's where I was confused because
No,
that's what it sounded like
100%.
initially.
No, that's 100% Nixie's behavior. This is how I separate things. This is what makes it real easy, right?
Guys, we're just going to mute for a
Nixie's
moment because Blue Eyes would like to
100%
just say something real quick. What's up, Blue Eyes?
Hey, everybody. Okay, I'll give you a quick scenario. I came to TikTok in September of 2022. Nixie was the first live I went to. He started messaging me on TikTok telling me, oh, this certain person wasn't a good person that's chatting with you. You know, wow. I was like, oh, this guy's looking out for me. He's making me feel protected. I'm a grown woman, but it made me feel good. Then he says to me, oh, I have these fantastic pictures of Saturn and Nebula. I can send them to you on Snapchat if you want. And I said, well, I've never been on Snapchat. I don't really know how to use it. And he's like, oh, just download it. I'm Sir Random Nix. Okay, no problem. Well, very quickly, the snaps started getting very weird. He was sending me filters with him with makeup on and devil horns, and he was getting shirtless. And I said to him, I was like, I was laughing. Never once, and you guys record this, did I send him any naked pics of myself. So he does not have that over me.
Yeah.
All of his behavior that he did to me over the past 2 weeks, I've heard these other women say the same thing. He lures you over to Snapchat. He starts aggressively. He would send me 50 snaps a day, telling me, pressuring me to send him pictures back. And I felt pressure. Did I send him back funny filters? Yes. He does not have one naked picture of me. So these assholes on this other platform can realize that I did not submit that to him. But he did pressure me, and he got mad at me, and he blocked me when I decided not to take this, quote, relationship onto a telephone status, and I told him no. So he blocked me from everything, from his Discord, from his social media, from Snapchat. And I was like, well, if that's how you're going to be, fine, no problem. Then a few months later, he's coming back into the lives I'm in, and I'm starting to moderate for a lot of lives, and he starts chatting with me. And I'm like, okay, well, not knowing that, I'm thinking to myself, I'm the only one. Oh, he's sending me messages while he's live. I must be special. I'm not a bad looking woman. You can look at my pictures, my videos. I'm not saying I'm gorgeous, but I'm not desperate. And I felt that this man holding some type of power that was interested in me, that made me feel good. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But the way that he went about it, the way he lured me to Snapchat, the way he got mad at me and made me beg him to forgive him.
Yeah, that sounds really problematic.
Okay.
So
Grooming.
And here's one thing I need to say. Since 2022, we stopped talking in 2023. He has gotten so much braver. And that's what I want to point out. He did not really get disgusting with me, but I'm going to say it right now, and I'm not going to say any names. He was sending pictures of himself urinating and telling women he wanted to do this to them.
this
Now
is a
that
flashback.
is a sick motherfucker, okay?
And just to be clear as well, am I right in hearing he's on top of all of this? He's married?
That, you know what? That's what I heard. I don't know. I did not think he was married when I was chatting with him because he told me he wasn't. But then I'm hearing a lot of other things that he is.
Well,
I'd love to
I've heard him say he was divorced on live.
Yeah.
And I think it's entirely possible he could be divorced with his daughters living with him. I think it could be entirely possible he's still married. I left that, like,
I have
Oh,
information
it could be
that
he's in the process of being divorced.
or something. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know.
yeah, it's been brought to our attention that from someone who's been to his home, that a wife situation still exists in that home, and there's paper trails. So
Hey,
Well, I'm trying to figure out why would he delete his social media, but
hey,
for cutting himself off from a social standpoint, so his
Okay,
wife
I can
wouldn't
answer
find
that
out.
really quickly from his perspective, or what these Barron and all these other freakos are saying. That he was advised to do that by law enforcement, which
No,
is
he wasn't.
totally bogus.
That's
Totally
a total
bogus.
lie.
hey,
Total lie.
Irish, this
Yeah.
Gen X guy, he's a patriot on his bio. He's a mega guy. He's been in our
I,
lives before.
I,
I've seen him.
wait, which guy?
Gen X guy, if you look at his bio,
Oh, got it.
yeah, he said he's a patriot on his bio. That's the first time I've seen him turn his camera on. So, I mean, I've been in lives where I've seen him in there before. So,
I don't know if anyone's mentioned this, but Gen X, earlier said he admitted that he has 2 allegations against him.
Yep, I heard that too. I would love to toast these guys. I love that we've got Mac and Ernesto in there. But like, I would love to get a piece of these guys.
I'm in there on my other account. I'm just
No, I mean on the panel.
yeah.
So listen, all I would say is like, I don't really understand why guys get so pressed by whether it's called a sexual predator or not. Like, you could be a sexual predator without ever even meeting someone. Like, again, if you flash someone, in my opinion, if you send an unsolicited nude, and if someone wants to call you a sexual predator for that, I think that's a fair goddamn thing to say. And arguing over whether or not someone's a sexual predator, or someone's exploiting someone, or someone's taking advantage of someone, it's still engaging in or pursuing sexual activity by ways of lies and manipulation. And that's a predator. That's what a predator does.
100%.
So I don't really know like why. Like, we're not saying he's a rapist. We're not saying that he has physically held someone down or drugged. No one's saying that. Like, sexual predator is a broad spectrum of things. I don't understand why they're so defensive of that, but
Just say one more thing before I drop
yeah,
down.
please.
Okay, a lot of people are saying, all these women, when did they know? I told Deep Sky Dude this information privately months ago, and he was an outlet for me to talk to. I also told another very big astronomy creator back in October what Nixie did to me. So I have nothing to gain from this. This was something I kept inside because I thought I was the only one. Then when I heard the past 2 weeks all of this other stuff going on, I was floored. But it needs to be known that I have nothing to gain from this. For me to say this actually hurts me more. I haven't left my bed for 2 days now. It's very traumatizing because he may not have done these types of things that he's done to the other women to me, but it's happened to me before on his platform with another narcissistic man. So he's not the only one doing this, and it needs to be known and it needs to be stopped. It's not fair. It's not right.
I strongly agree. There's this weird mentality that dudes, and maybe some women, but it's largely dudes, feel so entitled to sexual activity that they're going to lie and manipulate and emotionally abuse in order to get it. And that's twisted. Like, that's the intrinsic grape culture thing here. Is like, hitting on someone, not an issue, right? Pursuing someone, not an issue. But he clearly was moving you over to Snapchat in order to entice you to start giving him something sexual, when that was not what you had in any way demonstrated that you're interested in.
Right.
And he was doing it slowly, incrementally, in order to like ease you into the boiling pot of water. It's
Honey,
creepy as fuck.
That's called grooming.
Yeah,
That's
it
what he
is.
was
Yeah.
doing. And when I didn't submit to him, he got mad at me and blocked me.
That mad part, that is such a hallmark of someone who feels entitled, right? They're blaming you for rejecting them. why did they feel entitled to you not rejecting them? I've never gotten mad at a woman for like not wanting to talk to me. Like, that's so weird.
Apparently, Mac is owning them right now.
Apparently what?
So apparently Baron just learned that I'm live. I'm not sure if that's gonna...
I'm gonna drop down. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, Blue, I would just say, are you on Discord?
Yes.
If you'd like to connect with me, my username is IrishnNYC, all lowercase. IrishnNYC, all lowercase. There is already one person in there who just joined after this Nixie thing. My community, I don't know what the fuck it is, but it does tend to be very women heavy. And it tends to be women who have sort of like been emotionally, physically abused by guys. And so it may be a good Discord for folk who Nixie has been messing, doing horrible things to gather. If you'd like to join, you're more than welcome to. And if you'd like to have me in any way like talk about this on behalf of people, I'm very happy to do that.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate
do let me know.
it. Okay.
All right. All the best, sweetheart. Bye-bye. All right. I'm going to put this back up again.
What does that mean?
Right, what is that? Yeah, what is that?
A pick-me is an individual who only seeks out male validation and will do anything and everything to get that male validation.
Newsflash, dumbass,
Whether that
I'm a lesbian
be
married to a woman.
dehumanizing
Male
herself,
validation
whether
by
that
seeking.
be,
Explain that to me.
supporting shitty men.
For
That's what
any
a
of them,
pick-me is.
for
Male
any of the men
validation
in this
doesn't mean
live
male
that were
attraction.
called a boy and are offended by it, please direct all your, your.
There's
your
a difference between boy and male.
No,
Do you not know the difference between boy, male, and female?
That offends me.
And I said you guys were acting like little boys with all your
You're acting like a
picking
little
and
girl.
moaning.
So that
Let me
makes
add
you a
my
little
input.
girl.
Okay,
Okay,
and notice how that doesn't offend me.
Let me-
Womp womp.
let
Call
me
me a
add
little
my
girl. I don't give a fuck.
Let me add my input real quick.
Wow,
I got-
I'm so offended.
Baron,
Oh,
can you? Baron,
I got
can you
clothes
tell me?
older than you. You're nothing. You're what, 20
That's
something?
not something to brag
Sal,
about.
Sal, let me
Aw, he's trying to
I'm
make
gonna
me
guess
feel
she's
bad.
single. I'm gonna guess she's single too.
let me
Honestly.
point
Wait,
something
Gen
out.
X. What?
Let me point something out here.
I'm gonna guess
A lot
that
of
she's
bitches
Gen
and
X is a
moaning.
People
huge
hate to be
problem.
called on their hypocrisy. That's the
Let me
problem.
point something out that's problematic. Let me point something out.
Boss Helen, you can go fuck
You
yourself.
can clearly see my picture here. I'm a black man, and whenever we hear Caucasian people calling black men boys, that is also offensive and is considered a
Yeah, that's
racial
fair.
slur. But did I
That's not
call
what
you
I
racist?
said. I said the
100%,
people
my
on the
friend. I
panel
agree with you.
earlier were acting like little
And
boys.
so now-
This is my
Now you,
word.
oh, wait. Now you guys are
Also,
spinning the
were
narrative.
you even
Sal,
up here earlier? I don't
Sal,
recall
Sal.
you being up here. Maybe you
Sal,
were, but
wait.
I wasn't looking
Hold
at
on,
the
hold on, Mac. So now you're spinning the narrative because she didn't say boys. She already made it clear. I don't know why you can't understand that, but she did say, she said you were acting like little boys. She included me in that. I had no problem with her saying that. She said you were acting like little boys. She didn't call anyone in particular a boy. That is different.
Adding words to it,
Well, I think she said it
doesn't
both
make a
ways.
difference. Adding words to it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
You
guys
can
are
say
reaching so
black
incredibly
boy, you can
hard.
say ugly boy,
You guys
you can
need a
say monkey boy.
chiropractor.
Holy cow.
So how's everyone doing?
Had better days.
I had so many. I had other plans.
We all did.
I feel like I'm betraying. I told my wife yesterday that I did this all day yesterday, and I was in messages trying to, do whatever I could. And I spent all day yesterday doing this. And I told my wife, okay, Sunday.
Certain thing the way she did. She did not. She said we were acting. That's a completely
God damn it.
different thing.
Sorry.
So if I said to you, you're acting like an asshole, did I just call you an asshole, or am I saying you're acting like one? Yeah, you'd say you're acting like it. Oh, okay. So that's the way you would take it. You wouldn't say, don't call me an asshole. I don't care what you would call me, and I don't care if you say I was acting like something. Yeah. So yeah, no, because he already did call me an a-hole. Gen X already did. I don't care. Why you don't care. Somebody else might.
By the way, I wasn't offended when you said that. I was just pointing out that people do take offense to that. It's context.
No, you're right. The microaggressions are. Yeah, I agree, Bedazzle. I agree. If somebody went to directly call a black person, a black man, a boy, yeah, that is a microaggression. That is, yeah, that's not.
They
acceptable.
have no idea
agree.
what to do when confronted with a secure man.
It wasn't what happened.
She's a little boy. She's more than entitled to her opinion. but apparently I'm not.
I mean, she gave her opinion when she came on. She basically said all men need to shut the fuck up, is what she said.
And I'm good.
I mean, I said the uneducated men need to shush and stop acting, like children.
How do you know the education of everybody?
Yeah, they totally muted me because I
I
offered
can
to
just
come up with
tell, I
facts.
can just
Oh, you can
tell
tell?
by the things. Hold on, I can just tell by the things that you guys are saying that you guys are not
Right,
educated
what's my
on
education?
what rape culture
Okay,
is and how it
Nostradamus.
affects American
All right,
women.
Nostradamus. What's my education?
specifically.
What's
Yeah,
my
you're
education?
I can tell
You weren't
you're,
up here. You
you're
just said you
severely
weren't up here.
uneducated on the topic
I'm
of
uneducated.
rape
I'm
culture.
okay, everybody.
Yes,
I'm
on the
uneducated.
topic
Nostradamus
of rape culture, yes, you are
predicted the
severely
future?
uneducated. Do you need me to explain,
So-
or?
Yeah. In your whole 22 years of wisdom, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, you're very uneducated on the culture that affects every American woman.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you are.
Does he think he's owning it?
This is the problem.
You can educate yourself. I don't know why you're acting like it's the end of the world to be called uneducated on a topic that you're not educated on.
What's
You
the
can go
word
out
they
there and
call?
educate
What's
yourself.
the word?
Not hard.
The word's hubris. I think the word is hubris.
What?
Everyone
Can't
in
hear
this
you,
life,
bro.
like they're
Your
all
mic is
fucking
off.
I said
scumbag
the word that we're
lowlifes.
looking for you is hubris.
Yes, this is live. This is some douche Baron
Humorous? Is
Rutledge.
that what you said? I can hardly hear you. You gotta speak up.
No, your education.
Hubris.
Your education is limiting you to something that I didn't say. It's hubris.
Oh, okay. Was that supposed to be like some sort of a roast or a burn?
Well, go look it up. Go look it up and you'll find out.
Yeah, so whatever joke you just tried to make, whatever roast you just tried to make, I don't know what you were trying to do, but it didn't hit. You
No,
failed.
we got
I
it.
don't know
The
what
rest
you
of
were
us.
trying to say right here, but,
The rest of us
you
got it.
failed.
The
Okay,
educated.
sure, but
The educated
sure,
ones
but
got it.
I will always defend her.
I only have a high school education, so I'm gonna have to Google that.
Yeah, Google hubris because that's exactly what she's got going on.
They're
Just
just
have to excuse
grasping
me
at
if I
anything
didn't go to
to
college.
discredit anyone.
My bad.
No, I didn't either. But
I said you guys were uneducated on this
I'm definitely
specific
more
topic.
educated.
I
I'm
don't
definitely
care.
more educated than this woman.
I don't care about your education level. I could give a fuck less if you have a doctorate. If you're
They're so used
uneducated on the
to
topic
winning.
that we're
Yeah.
discussing,
In Florida.
then
Yes.
sit
This is what happened
down.
with Peterson and
Genius
Blitz.
is coming down
They
to
were
you.
so
Don't
used
make
to winning.
balanced words.
Exactly.
They
Women
didn't know how to humble
whenever you
themselves.
have no clue what you're talking about. It's just not that hard. I don't
Does he
understand why you
realize
guys
he
are
used the word
whining and
hubris wrong?
complaining.
No.
Why is your point of view the benchmark in this whole thing? That's
Because
what I
she's
wanna know.
educated on grape culture.
Yeah, because I can guarantee you that I have more education on the topic that we're discussing than you guys. So
And you
that's
so that
why.
means
Just
you
based
were-
off of the things.
so that means you were a witness to both parties and everything that was said and done between them, right?
No, I know what victim blaming is when I see it. You don't have to know the facts of like a specific case to know when someone is victim blaming and someone isn't, and also knowing like the effects
my
of
50
victim
Shades
blaming
is on
and
that.
how that harms and or helps women, blah blah blah, whatever, and like how that affects society. Like you don't have
Right?
to
They did
know the
add an extra
specific
syllable,
facts
David.
on a case
I picked
to
up on
know
that as
why
well.
that's wrong and the effects of victim blaming on an individual.
I smell bullshit.
That's what I came up to call out.
I smell bullshit.
These are the smallest men
on what?
on TikTok.
Specifically.
What you just said, because you have no idea.
Smallest man to ever
How old are you?
live.
How old are you?
What is her age matter? 'Cause I agree with her.
To defend this guy who they've never even met in person. It's so weird to me.
25.
Okay, so
25.
in your 25 years,
And they don't question
I don't know if
whatever
you
his
were on
name
here
is,
when I
Nixie.
told you I was sexually
They
assaulted
only
by two
question
women when I was a child.
the
Not relevant.
17 victims.
Not
Well, then
relevant.
it makes it even worse that you're supporting the victim blaming.
And you're trying to tell
Yeah,
me,
agree.
and you're trying to tell me you understand me, and everything you're saying is contradictory to how I feel. You're full of shit.
Not saying that she
So-
understands you.
He's
She's
so
saying, she's saying
she's
that
full of
you,
shit. She's
even
full of
even
shit.
unfortunately, even though you unfortunately went through what you went through,
Listen, I don't
you're
want your
not
pity.
learning
I don't want your
on the
pity. I'm trying to
specific
call out
topic
bullshit.
of rape
I'm trying to call
culture.
out 25
That's
year old
exactly what's going on here.
Yeah,
She's
so
pointing out that
the conversation up here is being had by people who aren't educated on
I'm
rape
educated.
culture.
I lived it. I'm educated. I lived it. What are you
Because
trying
you've
to tell me?
been through
Are you
it
trying?
doesn't
Are
hold
you
on. Just
trying?
because you've been through it
Are
doesn't mean that
you
you
Gen X only has
understand
lived
the
it because he's the
full
perpetrator.
social and psychological.
So you're victim shaming me?
That's what I'm thinking.
Are you victim shaming
Exactly.
me?
No,
Because
because
You don't
I
even know
believe
what that
you're
means.
saying.
You don't know what that
Sounds,
means.
it
That's
sounds to me like
Hold on,
you're
NSO,
it sounds
hold
to
on.
me like you're
Hold
victim
on,
shaming.
Gen
W
X,
Mac,
Gen
if
X.
anybody
No, the
could go
difference
over there and
between
just
me
shower
and
her
all
with
of the
gifts,
other
that would
men
be
up on the
dope.
panel is that I don't need evidence to believe
So
what
you
you're
have
saying,
experience.
whereas
So
they
you have
But
experience.
they
need
blocked
evidence
me.
of what you're saying to
So
believe.
Yeah,
what,
okay,
what
let's
about
do
all the
it.
black people in the 40s, 50s, and
Let's
60s
take
that were
turns
hungry,
going over
convicted
there
of
and
the same
showering her
things?
with whatever
5
we
women
got.
That's not
and
relevant
got
to the topic.
unalive
That's not relevant
with
to the
no
topic.
evidence of it.
They
It's
wanted
just not.
somebody
No,
to
It's
come
not
up
relevant
with
to the
is that the
facts.
topic.
same
So
thing?
I
Is it not the
offered
same
to,
thing?
and they
I
were like,
believe
no,
Gen
me
X
and
without
blocked.
saying
So
where
should people
all
be
listen,
unalive without any
It's so
evidence?
telling.
all of
They
the
are
Without
telling
men
on
any
who
themselves,
evidence?
and
acknowledge
then
the
they're
fact
like
of
afraid
an
of being
accusation against
accused.
his
Oh,
accuser would say, we need proof, we need evidence, we need this, we need that.
Listen,
The difference
Matt.
between them and
Did
me
anybody
is
ask
I
you
don't
on this
need
panel?
evidence.
Did anybody
I
on this
believe
panel
Hey,
ask
Matt.
you,
in what
Gen
they're
X?
telling me.
Did
Can I
anybody
ask?
ask
Can
you
I
for
ask Mac
evidence
a
that you were
question?
that you were
Can I ask
victimized
Mac
can
by
a
these
people
women?
question?
go over
Can
to
I
that
ask Mac
live
a
Anybody on
and
this
question?
spam
panel
free
asked
Can I
Kenzie
ask
in the
Mac a
chat?
question?
Sure,
Free
what's your
Kenzie.
question?
My question is, have you ever experienced it personally?
Why do you guys
Because you're
always
talking about
that's the most
education. You're
invasive
talking
question?
about education, and you're talking about whether we know the subject or not. Have you ever experienced
I'll say it
personally?
again.
Asking her if
Being
she's ever been
graped does not
victimized.
mean you're
Talk about it
educated
and
on
being
grape
so
culture.
damn
I'll say it again.
knowledgeable.
Being graped does not mean you're educated on grape culture.
Because she's an expert. She's an expert.
This is
She's an expert.
fucking
And
so
even if it was
disgusting.
Irish, like you said, he's asking her if it's happened to her. That's so fucking gross, man.
Listen, Dick, shut the fuck
I'm
up. I'm
very
not talking
good, but
to
I've never played in the NFL.
Listen, I'm not talking to you.
Deep
Shut up.
Sky, did you see Russ and his wife on that live
Oh
last
yes,
night?
I recorded it because they were attacking a
Yeah.
mutual friend of mine who we've been working together on this for months and months. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah,
You can
like
take
I
that.
saw
I'm not
that
going to
part. I
disclose
was so
anything on this panel
disgusted.
because
So
you
the
guys are
answer's
both.
no, so shut up.
The conversations are about people's personal experience, Gen X.
And again, that's my
Was
personal
highly
experience.
inebriated, but that's not.
Yeah, you're making it personal.
Well, she's an expert. She's a 25-year-old expert.
You're still making it personal.
Well, I'm
25-year-old
expert.
to her. Gen X, you're the only one that's wanted that decided to share your story. That was your choice. Now,
That's
people
called bravery.
asking other
That's
people to
called
share their
bravery.
story.
That's called bravery. Are you shaming me?
You're an
That's
awful
bravery.
person
No, wait.
wanting to
That's
want
bravery.
other people to share their story.
That's bravery.
You decided to
When
share
you
your story.
use when you use your grape in order to invalidate other people who've been graped, that's not bravery.
Cough, Planet Peterson,
I'm
cough.
cut ties.
Big time.
You know, real quick. So I'm cutting ties with Gen X and problematic. We're gonna bring some new people up.
All right, hey, no, I'll shut up. You can, I'll
Ooh,
drop
I'm gonna
out.
try to
Like I said,
request.
These people, they want to talk like experts.
But if I get up, I won't be able to do the live. Crap. I did just request.
They won't let you up, Irish, because they're afraid of you.
Yeah. Do you have an alt you could use, maybe?
All right, let's hear it.
Sorry?
I said, all right, let's hear it.
Hear what? You said you were going to move on, so I was waiting for you to introduce the topic you're moving on to.
Well, from that topic, from that conversation that they were having.
Well, what are we moving on to?
I don't know. You tell me.
Should we all move over to the other live and you take this live down,
What
and if you
Gen
get
X was
blocked
doing
or
was
something, we come
absolutely
back here?
disgusting. The fact that
Oh, Irish, you're in.
he
Are you?
would pressure
Yeah.
someone
Should we go
to
over?
disclose if they have been a victim or survivor in order to make an argument is absolutely deplorable. And the fact that not one single person except Ernesto said something says something.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know that. Was that what you wanted to say?
No, I actually would like to engage in the argumentation. What is the purpose of your live?
We're gonna figure out whether or not this guy Nixie is a sexual predator.
What criteria does someone need to meet in order to be categorized as such?
As a sexual predator?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened, from what I understand, is he was told no, and he did it anyways. Then somebody else said that's not what happened. It was willingly on both sides. So, there you go.
That's not what I asked.
We're speaking about
Well,
every
that's my
case
answer
that's the
to it.
same.
Well, no, I asked what criteria someone needs to meet in order to be categorized as an SP.
You would have to have evidence of it. That would be the criteria, wouldn't it?
Right, what evidence? What criteria do you need to meet in order to be classified as such?
Forcing yourself on a person.
To what degree?
Sending pictures.
Sending pictures is force?
Yeah, right? You're sending somebody pictures that is unwarranted. They didn't want it.
Unsolicited or unwanted? You didn't say unsolicited, so now it's unsolicited?
Yes, unsolicited. There you go.
So unsolicited. So that's is that the only criteria?
For this situation?
No. Why would it be for this situation?
Okay,
Isn't
I'm
there?
muted.
Don't you have a standard for what an SP is?
Yeah, I just gave
If
it
this
to
is
you.
what your life is about, I would think you would have standards and metrics that someone would need to meet.
Yeah, I just gave it to you.
You gave me one, so I'm just clarifying. Is there only one?
Well, there's a specific person or a particular top. You know, I'm not saying it's just one incident that just happened.
you should
that we're
speak
talking.
in
We're
a
not talking
different
about
voice.
like everyone in general.
I'm
that's
trying to get my
victim
accents ready.
SD or predator. We're talking
Yeah,
about just one specific.
But I can only do the
back
silly
that up.
accent. I
Right, you
can't
said
switch
you wanted
it.
to determine if this
I
person
can't
is an
talk
SP,
for
so I
real,
assume
though.
that there are criteria that needs to be met, not just one metric.
The criteria is real simple. He lured a girl off the app. They exchanged phone numbers, and he did things that were inappropriate after she told him no. So I want to see the evidence. Pretty simple. So you got
Okay,
something.
so he is an SP.
Well, I want to see
Is
the
what you're
evidence.
saying.
I don't know. I want to see the evidence.
What evidence do you want?
I want to see the text messages that are there. So,
You don't
dude, you have a pencil?
No.
You have a pencil, and so you can write something down real quick.
No, I have a pen.
You can write something down real quick. I'm gonna write down an address where you guys can send the phone, and I can look through it.
That's what he said to me. Ship me a phone and I'll look at it. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
go ahead.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
God, these guys think they're so fucking funny.
You got that down?
Sure do.
All right, who's next?
If I can just ask a question, given the fact that y'all are saying that this should be taken seriously and stuff, should you be making light of the situation by dropping that young woman like that? That just seems kind of mocking the whole situation, no?
What's that?
Well, I just said it. Y'all are up here pretending that you're taking this seriously, right? And then you just made a mockery or tried to make a mockery out of that young woman by doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing, right?
I didn't try to make a mockery out of anybody.
I agree you didn't very much succeed, but you tried, and I'm just trying to understand how y'all taking this seriously when you keep dropping people who are trying to educate you.
I think he wants to address
I'm
too
not gonna
there.
argue about it. I already told you what my standards are. That's the end of it. You got something you want to add to that? Add it. If you got some
Yeah, you
evidence
do
want to
understand that some of the allegations do involve him sending shirtless photos that were not requested, correct?
correct. If I can see that proof, then yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Don't you
The
believe
claims-
firsthand
the claims-
testimony?
I didn't get any firsthand testimony.
Well, that's been given in other lives. Have you been looking
I don't
out?
care. I don't give a shit. I didn't get it here.
Well, do you think you've created an environment where women are going to want to come up and talk to y'all, given how y'all talk to women?
I'm really not interested in that. Do you have evidence against this dude or not?
Did you hear what I just said to you?
Yeah, I heard you. Do you have evidence or not?
Yes, I do have evidence.
Okay, let's see it.
It's not physical evidence you can see, it's firsthand testimony,
I'm
and
not
why doesn't that
interested.
matter to
Then
you
I'm not-
exactly?
I'm not interested. I'm not
So when
interested.
your daughter comes to you and says she's been raped, are you going to tell her, come back when you got real evidence, sweetheart?
Baron, wait, hold on, Baron.
No, Baron, can you answer that question for me, Baron? Baron, if your daughter comes to you and says that she's been raped, are you going to tell her, darling, come on back later when you got real evidence? Because I'm not going to believe you, darling.
So who was raped?
Baron, I'm asking you that question. Can you answer my question, sweetheart?
So who was raped?
Sweetheart, can you answer my question? You're answering my question with another question, sweetheart.
Whether as a parent or not, you pay as a parent doesn't.
My question with another question, sweetheart.
Whether as
Damn.
a parent or not, you pay as a parent that's going to believe it doesn't necessarily mean
That was phenomenal.
Oh my god.
Why? Are you
I think I became a gay Southern man. I don't know what happened.
You
there.
did.
Claims or talk
You
to you?
did.
I'm not here to contest anything. I want to see the evidence. You got evidence?
No, go ahead and boot me, coward.
Bye.
Wow, these guys are cowardly bitches.
Yeah, I'm more inclined to believe my child if she was to come and say something.
I'm more inclined to believe my
Even if she
child.
was to be lying to me and the truth came out
I
eventually.
can only do Southern Belle.
As a parent, you're gonna believe your child.
I don't
But
know
that doesn't prove anything, right?
100% I'm going to believe my daughter.
Baron,
Yeah.
how is? But I'm okay. Now I'm confused. How is?
Yeah, you had like a
firsthand
mama
testimony
talk
from
feel
the
to
individual
you.
that said this happened to them? How is that not evidence?
I didn't ever heard any firsthand testimony from anybody.
Okay, I was just clarifying that you weren't saying that that's not evidence because that is evidence.
Yeah, it's
Can we all
evidence,
light
man,
up the
and
comments
evidence
with W
given to the
Mac?
authorities.
Yes,
I
W
know
Mac.
this is
Shower her with
You think
gifts.
so?
That's where it gets tricky.
Mac, you were amazing.
Yeah, you did
You think so?
incredible as always.
See, here's the problem.
They just hated you, which is perfect because that means
Sorry.
you were doing everything right.
You think
You
so?
understand that?
You did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Slay.
Shubity just pointed out we now have 5 clips of them dropping people who are coming with facts and or reason, and they just can't take it. They've such fragile egos. Such fragile ass bitch men. It's embarrassing.
And they just blocked and muted Wasabi before she could even get up there just because she said she had information.
I have major beef with that.
Gen X guy?
Whatever. Yeah. If I ever
Yeah.
see him again, I'm just gonna,
Richie said we've
Weak.
debated him before.
He's a piece
They
of shit.
dropped My Southern Belle for Gen X. Now I'm angry.
Wait, he's back up there. Damn it! I wish I didn't have to work in like 5 minutes.
You could just
Quit-
report
quit
him
your
until
job,
then.
man.
I could just call out. Like 10 left. No, I'm not doing
Gen
that.
X there's definitely stuff in his closet. Anyone who keeps defending this stuff, there's stuff in their closet.
Yeah, I was gonna say the smile whenever Mac first came in and started
One sec.
talking that he had on his face, you just knew that he was gonna be getting pleasure from invalidating and from being so disgusting, and that he just really wanted to ask her really personal, like sick-minded things. Like it was written all over his face. We've seen it a million times on this app. It was fucking disgusting. And then he did exactly that.
Sorry. Richie's exposing that Gen X is a Trumper. I wonder if that changes anything. Is everyone else in there a Trumper?
Yeah, I don't think it would change anything with these losers.
You know, there is a court document of him him and Epstein raping a 13-year-old, right? In the 90s.
There's also a court document that he has 34 felonies. What? No, don't say something like that. And don't
Louder, louder.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead there,
There's also
Go
a
ahead,
document
Patriot.
that has 34 felonies that every single legal advisor who has ever looked at it says that case never would have been brought to court. So don't
Everyone,
come at me
right?
with, don't come at me with some BS.
Everyone, right?
Everyone.
Everyone, right? But guess what? He was found guilty in a court of law, right?
Again,
Oh, son of a whore. What? Oh, sorry.
he believes it.
Guess who pulled ahead
Give me
in
one
polls,
second.
right?
I want to get this guy's.
Trump.
No. Biden's leading in the polls. You better go check your polls again.
You need to change your news source, my
Oh, I
friend.
thought we weren't talking about politics.
How do we get
Sorry,
on
give me
Trump
a
and
second.
Biden right now?
Because this dude, because
I've seen this Gen X guy.
All
He's
right.
been eating
Someone get a
alive.
screenshot of that for me for later.
This Gen X guy's been all over the place.
I think I already
And
got
as
it
far as
earlier,
your-
but yeah.
and as far
Can
as
someone
your
message
grade
Mac
goes
and just
whatever,
say
when you're
Iris
little,
said you were
As
amazing?
far as your
She just
grade goes
DM'd
when
me.
you're little, I call BS on that. I don't think you ever were. And
really?
that's just
Oh,
my
really?
opinion. You
Oh,
know
really?
what? You're full of shit. And I'll call you out
Why don't
right
you- why
now.
don't you call-
You're
why
full
don't you
of
call me
shit,
out?
and I don't even fucking believe you
Hey, dude,
because you're full of
listen.
shit.
Dude, listen, we can talk one-on-one.
Richie.
Why would I want to talk
Tell
to Mega? I'm not going to
Gen
fucking talk to
X
you. You're an asshole.
I know this is not
Join
my live, so I don't
Irish.
have any say. But I don't give a fuck about politics right now.
If anyone go over there and tell Gen X that Irish is daring him to come over and give my username, just say Irish in NYC is saying none of you cowards will debate him. Irish in NYC says none of you cowards will debate him.
16, I seen like a few 15s, right? I'm just like genuinely, this is a real question. I want to like go look it up.
Did you notice that Gen X's name changed? Oh wait, no, that's a different ugly dude. Okay.
I can tell you this, I don't know, because the guy
Why
that
are they all
claims
bald?
he had all
They
the
kicked
women
me.
coming to him,
Grapey
the number
guys
changed
defend grapey
within an
guys.
hour and a half.
The name of the
I
guy
just
is
wanna
Baron
know
Rutledge.
where I'm supposed to go to, like, where is this even being talked about in like video format where I can go watch the video? 'Cause I
They
want
live in
to
fear
see,
of
you know,
being
what the fuck's
accused.
Okay, someone go over there
all
right
of
now and
their
say
details
Irish
and
and
all that.
NYC is
I just
live
wanna know
talking
what
about it.
people are very adamantly bringing up 17.
Sorry, guys.
I'm trying to figure out where this 17
I think the original video in question is from a creator named 1KMG365.
Let me write that down.
Oh, is there a video?
If it's a little off, I can.
Yes, there is a
say
video.
1
Yeah. I can
KM
send it to you, Irish.
1KMG365.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Does anyone know that person? She just messaged me on Discord.
The title of it is Narcissistic Creators.
Irish Erica?
And is this on
Globe
TikTok or
Earth
like YouTube
Laura.
or something?
No, it's TikTok.
Oh.
Okay, bet.
Did anyone evidence come to be yet?
Again and go look. But you know, I'm gonna go look at the evidence that they're showing and whatnot.
I don't know. It's just odd she
just to see what
connected with
what's
me on
going
Discord
you know.
yesterday.
I feel like now
they're so
even in
gross.
Ernesto, amazing job. Genuinely amazing job.
Great job.
Also, I know Laura is a mod. in
Wait,
the team also.
Richie is still here? Richie,
Yeah.
good job.
It's all over the place.
No, I was in there on my other account.
I didn't realize.
Probably
Fantastic
other
job.
videos that have been created since then, Holy.
Yeah.
But I believe the one that I gave you by 1KMG365 is
Again,
the
no one's
initial one
asking
that
you
kicked
to
all of
do
this
anything other than
off.
shut up.
Is anyone going
You
to
don't have to denounce Nixie.
Hell no.
You don't have to like call him out. Just shut up.
That was my point. My whole
Honestly, I
point
think
was
on a
just don't
personal
say
level,
anything.
right,
You
like,
can
I
believe
think it's
you
already
can believe a
messed up
victim
that
and
he
just stay
even
silent.
Would use,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying
really
use
that
power
simple.
in the sense of
Oh, the
yeah,
Irish
you know,
squad is upset.
a TikTok following, I
Ooh, you
guess.
little bitch.
I think it's even messed up that you would like talk to multiple women and make if it's true that he was making them all seem like they're
Yeah, of
like,
course
the
your dad
one,
left.
and then he was just
He would.
going around. I think that's already messed up. The difference is that while I do
You can
think
just
that's
say
messed
it's
up,
wrong.
like, and that's as far as it goes. Like I think it's messed
No,
up.
but
and I
this
think,
is what
hey,
they
bro, like,
do.
you need
They
to
rally
chill
the
out and do that,
troops,
but,
and
like,
then
I
they
think
all
when we
hang
start-
out together
like,
and
as you
just
can see,
like
I'm
give
reading
each
about children.
other
I think when it starts
pats
going
on the
all
back
over
and
there, now
reassurance
it's
that
not
it
fair
could
to
never
just be
happen to
like,
them, and oh, let's feel bad
Well,
for this
bury
man.
this man.
The
You know,
unfortunate truth is, all of the evidence,
Educate us.
and I'm saying this,
Gorbachev.
all of the evidence that I have seen
What is
is two people
Is that a birthmark or is it
inappropriately
been
interacting
punched by
with each
someone?
other on this app. Not one fucking thing.
I thought
is
it was a
this,
shadow.
have I seen?
Okay,
This
hang on,
man
Russ.
demean-
What's inappropriate? What's inappropriate about it?
Right.
Big
Oh,
dick.
What's
I
inappropriate?
want to hop down real quick. I just want to say one
I
thing
don't
about
think
that.
it's.
If anyone else in the
I
chat, like, has
follow
anything that,
a
you know,
pretty
I-
easy
that's-
standard.
they have
Like
something else,
I
can you
just
just
don't
DM it to me? I'm gonna
sexually
hop
hit
down.
on women on this
You guys see
app.
my
Like
name.
it's not
I'll be back.
that.
It's-
I just don't think it's that hard to do. Like especially when you're someone like Nixie who's got like almost $1 million. If a woman likes you, she's gonna hit on you.
And truly,
She's gonna flirt with you.
the evidence that
You
I have
don't
seen,
have to push it. So like, just don't push it,
it
dude.
was initiated by
Anybody check Big Daddy's following list?
All right. So now we're getting somewhere, right? Now we're getting somewhere. Okay.
This is a lunatic, by the way. He flew off the handle the other day, yesterday.
Who?
This guy.
The top middle bulge.
Oh yeah, no
Fuck.
shit. Look at him.
the interaction. And
He
it
looks like he
starts
beats
off
women.
With you saying, "Oh my God, I think I might have a crush on you,"
I have a recording. I
and
can
it
share.
goes progressively from there.
We're
Okay,
gonna
that
get
may
along.
be one of the
This
people.
guy.
It's been
And?
steered in a specific fucking direction.
Wait, so this can be looked up on Google already? Are you serious?
Irish, I would love to send you that clip. Give
Cryptic
me
Pill just said
later.
Yeah, again, my Discord is Irish and NYC, all lowercase. Just send me a request. Send me everything you have. Because like I do I try to be as fair-minded about this stuff as possible. I know from my own experience that women can get obsessed with you on this app. That's absolutely a true thing.
I'll tell you
I
right
also
now.
know that there's really bad guys.
I don't mean
So
to
the
bring
fact
this-
that someone
this
may have
woman in-
started
into
off
this mix because
nicely
I may
and
be
flirting
way
with
off.
you doesn't
And I
mean that they
understand
wanted
the
it to
character
escalate to
or
where
lack
you
thereof
wanted it to
within
go,
the
bro.
wider
Like,
community.
two things can be true at once. Like, one person could start flirting,
I'll bet
but they could
Laura
stop
has
flirting, and she
some
may not have cared.
Pretty
Yeah, he may not have
interesting
cared to
stories
stop.
to tell about her time in the flat Earth community.
Like, I
and
just
what
don't
she
understand
may
why do you have to, like,
received unsolicited.
shut down the conversation? Like,
again,
that's the weird
I'm
part
just
to me. Like, why are
assuming.
you not, like, wanting to learn more?
Cryptic was talking about the Trump thing. My apologies. Sorry, Cryptic. That's why I'm reading them.
I can speak to Russ's issue with all this if you want.
No, what Laura just said. I just fucking thought of that. And she says, yup. Nothing of this is so fucking malicious that I have seen. And I'm telling you, I've seen
No,
it.
but it's
That I
done by
have
the-
seen, and I'm telling you
this
that
man
I,
needs to be
this weird
nailed to a
fucking
post
face
and set
dude,
on
Nobody
fire.
asked
has
to nail
all the
him to a
info.
post.
And the more that comes out, the more it seems like a shakedown for a bunch of chicks that think some old dude's got
Bunch
some
of
money.
chicks.
There it
Have
is.
any of them asked for money?
They're all
I
so
wouldn't go that
disgusting.
far
I
and say
mean,
that,
we're
Russ.
getting them
I'm
all
just
taken
What are
down.
you talking
You
about?
can't just automatically condemn somebody without.
Oh,
knowing
we
the
have an
backstory.
update on my Southern Belle accent. Someone appropriately pointed out. I likely got it from Foghorn. What is it? Foghorn
Foghorn
Leghorn?
Leghorn.
Leghorn, yeah.
That's where I got it from.
Yeah,
I
it's a
never said I
little.
didn't believe them. All I said is you just
We gotta
I
do
do
the
agree.
voice changer.
I do agree.
condemn somebody
Yeah, we need a voice changer.
simply because
Real quick,
I do declare.
Yeah, sorry, go
You
ahead.
can,
Deep.
you can get one on Team Meal.
real quick. This Russ character. When my friend at I Spaced Out on here, like I said, me and him have been two of the people that many of these victims have gone to during this whole process. Russ's biggest issue was that he knew for however long, it doesn't even matter how long, and he was cussing him out, yelling and literally screaming at I Spaced Out, saying all this stuff. And he had no information. He didn't know what we knew. He didn't know who or what or when or where, how. But he just started going off. He was grandstanding like, when someone comes to you, you immediately and you tell everybody everything. And that's not what we were dealing with here. He didn't have all the information. He didn't know jack squat. And I'm saying this on record now. I believe, and I'm not sure about it, but I believe he was highly intoxicated. Because then his wife, Miss Sergeant Wifey or whatever, did a live, and they continued in on my friend I Spaced Out. And he's a strong dude, but at a certain point, he was alone in there and he couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And they instead of turning their anger towards the person who perpetrated all this, they turned their anger to I Spaced Out because he and I and some others had information, but we didn't act on it as fast as they said we should have, which is bullshit.
Or is that me?
That's what I would like to know. I would like to see it, honestly, because I keep hearing things here and there.
Yeah. No, it's cowardly. It's cowardly behavior. And it's funny because they keep accusing the women of being the bullies. Yet these guys are literally trying to shut down people from speaking. Like,
They couldn't
I just,
wait to
they
do
can just
this.
wait. Like, I don't even know what the allegations are. I only know a couple of them at this point. But like, I'm not immediately gonna like say, "Oh, we shouldn't crucify this man," because he's not being crucified, bro.
They're making me believe the victims even more.
Their response is not helping Nixie.
All we did was listen and try to support the people who were coming to us. And in my mind, and I've discussed this with multiple people outside of this situation, they said the best thing to be done is to listen, empathize, be there for them when they need them, and they need us right now. And that's the reason why I'm up on this panel. It's the reason why I jumped into Garbage Barons live too.
Yeah, and the key thing that you're also echoing, which you did correctly, is you know, we all have like a drive to want to tell people. We all have a drive to want to warn people, But like that's the whole thing, is that when someone's being manipulated, when someone's been lied to, when someone's being taken advantage of, they lose control. They have been taken advantage. They lost control. So at least let them control their own goddamn story. Like, it's not that complicated.
Yeah, we weren't the victims here.
Yeah, it's
We
not your
had nothing
story.
to do with it. It's not our story, exactly. And so he's mad at us. Again, he's not even victim blaming at this point, even though he did later, and I have evidence of that on recording. But he's now blaming the people with the message. He's now shooting the messenger, if you will, when we were the ones that were asked by the specific victims, and there are multiple, to, hey, chill out. We're working on our end. We're going to come forward with our story when we're ready. And I understand why they don't come out, because of people like Russ and
100%.
Barron.
And again, that's why, like, Deep Sky, like, I have no idea how familiar you are with me, but like, I call these type of folk out all the goddamn time. So again, if you could just let these women know, like you talked about the other person who wasn't able to like take the berating and all that kind of stuff. Like, I live for that kind of shit. I'd be very happy to keep calling these guys out. I found it was really interesting as well that they tried to like blame me for this happening because I called out what was going on with Planet Peterson. Instead of, again, why are they not turning to their friend Nixie and say, dude, don't lie to women. Dude, you don't have to lie in order to get nudes. Dude, you don't have to manipulate people and take advantage of people in order to get sexually gratified. They keep on like looking at anyone to blame other than their friend. Like, I haven't heard them really try to like talk about their friend being bad people. And instead they keep saying, well, he's not that bad. Nobody's saying he's like deserves to be hung up, dude.
And
But it's
then
like they can't even say it's bad. Like when Barron turns around and says, I don't get the big deal is lots of men in bars lie to get sex all the time. It's
yeah,
like,
that was awful.
what the fuck, dude? And Ernesto,
He's
did
like, I
absolutely
lie at the bar
blame
to
the
have
woman
sex all the
who
time.
who sent her nudes.
Okay, I just got new info. They actually booted my buddy out of there when he was talking to him, just like they did to me. So they don't really want to hear the truth. They want to, do that C word that ends with a K. They want to do that for Nixie, which is weird. Like you said, Irish, they're not even really friends with this guy. They knew the internet persona that Nixie put up. We all did. We all knew that persona. So you don't think we're all kind of upset and ashamed that we trusted this guy?
Okay, so that's not why they're defending him. Why they're defending him is that they fear they're going to be next. This is just a very common
He
thing.
said it. He
Yeah,
said it.
he literally did
He
say that.
literally said that.
Wow, I never
They
even thought
also
of
don't want to come to terms with that they are harboring a predator.
The thing is that if a person is accused of forcibly holding someone down and beating them up and then having schmecks with them, if they think it's credible, they'll denounce that guy. Anything less than that is activity and actions that they themselves may have engaged in or may in the future engage in. And so they can't denounce that for fear that they'll be denounced. So it's not them protecting their boy. It's not them being upset that someone they liked is being called out. Any guy who defends this type of behavior often has skeletons in their closet that they're trying to protect.
Exactly. It's
Every
them
time.
not knowing exactly what Nixie did, but them looking back on what they've done and say, this might have been one of those things. So I have to defend it. I have to defend him. Because this thing that I did might have been something that Nixie did that will result in people really, really coming at him and people saying this is proof.
And they're being so loud about it that it's like they don't even realize that they are just opening themselves up to being looked at more. Like,
Yeah.
Well, and
they're
part
so
of the
stupid.
problem is that people can't really go call Nixie out because
Yeah.
somewhat like a guilty person, he went and deleted his 1 million follower TikTok. He deleted his entire monetized YouTube. He deleted the Discord. So
And he
maybe
did
some of these
delete the
people
account,
were in
right?
that and are glad that he did those
Daisy's in
things.
there.
He
But was it
deactivated
delete? Okay,
and
deactivated.
he'll have to so in order to return to TikTok and regain those 700 and whatever thousand followers, he has 30 days. Mark my words, he will be back and he will change his name and he will go about his business.
100% agree.
100%. Yeah. Well, and it's so frustrating.
Miss Daisy is
because-
speaking.
Absolutely sure. Have you looked
Sorry.
at the stats?
Go on.
Rain.org. Go to rain.org right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me.
All right. Yeah, TK, in this particular case, there's not a lot of law enforcement that's going to pick up this particular case.
Yes. That's my point. And another point is that.
Generalizing, though, that's my issue.
What do you mean
They don't do
generalizing?
Anything. Like, I mean,
Would
don't.
it happen to depend? Would it happen to depend on what type of offenses have happened in the case? I mean, could that be a reason why they would pick it up or not pick it up?
Yeah, I know, right, Chad?
Well, as to the best of my knowledge, most of this is taking place
Jorge,
Are they
listen,
new to
on
police?
social media.
Richie, I'm going to drop you down for a second.
Jorge was one of them defending
I have not
and
heard
like
of
victim
any
blaming
actual
last night.
physical contact
Well, I mean,
between
listen,
the two.
I'd like to hear Jorge's perspective. So, Jorge, if you'd like to speak on it, go ahead and speak on it. And if everyone can
hello.
not interrupt him, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. Becca, was I victim blaming anybody ever?
Jorge,
had. So I'm close to this. This is my community. Jorge has been a huge support. I just like me when I heard the first whisperings of what was going on. Took my time to find out what's going on and listen to the women and figure out because on the surface level, if someone's messaging someone offline or whatever, that's none of my business. I don't care. You do what you want. That's none of my business. But the more I found out and the more lies and deception and manipulation I found out, it's bad.
Yeah,
So-
it's bad. And so I think I really cared for John, was one of my best friends on this app. But the person that he presented to me, I don't think was the full person, the actual person. And I'm seeing this come to light now. What I have seen and heard is very damning. And we just cannot accept this kind of behavior. It doesn't matter what your status is as a creator, or it's just human beings cannot accept this kind of behavior.
Jorge,
and so I'm just go ahead.
No, what I want to point out, I was going to say the word applaud, but I also feel like that's triggering for people because it's kind of like a lot of people would consider it the bare fucking minimum, is the fact that you've got the humility to recognize that you knew one part of a person. And
Yeah.
I feel like guys especially have this issue that they feel like they know a person, and they feel like what they know of that person is comprehensive, so that they know everything about that person. And it's so harmful because it really sort of suggests and pushes this rhetoric that if someone's your friend, they couldn't be a rapist. They couldn't be someone who sexually exploits women because I know them. They're a good one. No, you know your side of them.
That's right. And especially on social media, right? People present to you the side they want you to know on social media, even in real life, but it's even easier to do that on social media. And
100%.
Yeah.
Jorge,
so-
can I just ask you one question then?
did you say that I was siding with him?
So I was going to ask you, if that's how you feel, then why last night did you say that Peterson is innocent and that Irish has been spreading fake screenshots and
I've never said that Peterson was
Yes, you
innocent.
did.
I
I
said
have
no,
you
no.
recorded.
Yeah, that's fine.
You
You can.
defended Peterson.
I said Blitz is a decent.
No,
dude.
you defended Peterson. You said that Blitz and Peterson have both had their character besmirched, that screenshots have been altered,
Wasabi,
and that people calling them out
respectfully, you are
not
talking
good.
about a different person. I have
No,
not
I'm
said
not.
that.
No,
Yes.
I'm not. I was in the live. I have a screenshot of it. I have a
Yeah,
screenshot
sure.
of it.
Show him if I said that.
Well,
I do not remember saying that.
she may not-
I
she
I
may
said
not-
that,
she
that
has it
said that
recorded.
Blitz was a decent dude. That's what I said.
No, you
Okay,
didn't.
so, but hang on. As for Blitz being a decent
And this
dude-
is a separate topic, by the way. Like this has
No,
nothing to
it-
do with the Nixie stuff.
No,
So-
it's not actually, Jorge, it's not. That's actually sort of the weird thing. This is a message we got like a week ago or something in Peterson's
Mm-hmm.
server, where they talked about Nixie, Blitz, and Peterson as being like part of a similar group, right? And it is a little weird how these three guys have been sort of outed for doing really messed up stuff all in the past couple of weeks. I don't think it is a separate issue because I understood that a lot of people really liked Blitz. I understand that a lot of people really respected Blitz. Blitz has also gone on the record stating that he knows that there were minors in Peterson's server and that things got spicy. And his follow-up response to that is, but it's not worth ruining his life over. I don't think that's a good person. He's doing what those
you're
guys
right.
were doing as well.
He said it was objectionable, but I don't think it's worth ruining his life over. So yeah, he said. I think I saw your screen capture of that. He said it was objectionable behavior and probably not worth ruining somebody's life over. Do I have that kind of mostly right? I think I remember the screen capture.
I mean, I could show you the screen capture. I think the bigger problem is this idea that by calling out bad behavior, which is factually accurate, somehow now you're the bad guy for ruining someone's life. And it's more like, no, they're the bad guy.
Yeah,
So, like-
hey, look, I agree with you. We are seeing this right now with the Nixie situation where people are basically victim blaming. So I agree with you on that. So, but
like as for
so
Blitz,
with
sure, but as for Blitz, like, just to give some further clarity, in defense of his boy, Blitz has gone around saying that I masturbate to images of young children. I don't think that's a good guy. In defense of his friend, Blitz has gone around saying that Peterson has proven receipts that redeems all the allegations. That's a lie. In defense of his boy, he's gone around saying that I'm lying about the allegations. None of these are good guy things to do.
Yeah, Irish, with respect to all that stuff, I must admit, I am not well-versed in any of that. I've seen a little bit of the lives where you show some screenshots, and I have been sent a video that's like a 3-hour long thing, and so maybe I will go through that and then look through it more carefully so I can have a more objective, informed opinion, which I believe I'm trying to have with respect to the other situation.
You can go to, I think it's my
because look,
10th
man,
video
at the end
here,
of the
that's
day,
a 5-minute video,
at the end
not
of the
a
day,
3.5 hour if you
I
want.
sent
anybody
you a video, Irish.
Yeah, anybody that knows what's like some of us are trying to do on this app. Like, I'm just trying to promote kindness and science. I'm not anti anything on this app, man. And if you are a creator that is using your position,
people, though.
yeah. So I am taking what I believe is an appropriate stance with respect to the first individual there with Nixie. Listening to the people that are telling their stories and trying to empathize and not making a judgment, and definitely not victim blaming. What I will say is that the evidence I've seen so far is damning. And I have reached out to him and told him, you're my friend, but this is bad stuff and I want you to get help, right? Go get some help. If you need somebody to talk to, like I said, it may not be the whole individual, but the person presented to me was somebody that I ended up caring for. It called me naive, bad judge of character. Okay, I'm guilty of those things. And on that same token, I am also an emotional creature, and I see somebody that I cared for doing like bad things, which, and like I said, the evidence is not good. It is bad. I mean, the evidence is very damning, and so I'm dealing with that on my own right, and trying to be responsible on this app too, as a science communicator. I'm not a huge account. But I want to do what's right by the people, especially the people that were hurt here, man. And so just listening to them.
I can speak for Jorge on the fact that he has listened. He has asked questions and taken information. He has not automatically gone like, oh no, Nixie couldn't have done that, or I remember, Jorge, I know you said like Blitz is a good guy, but I think that's before you knew anything. And you asked me in that chat, what do you think? And I told you what I thought, and then you listened.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm going to go watch this video you sent me. That was you, right, Becca? You sent me the video because and I'm going to go watch this, and I can come back with a more objective and informed opinion. Right now, just like with Nixie, like I have a version of Blitz, and I see him as a force for good and a good science communicator and a decent guy. That's my current opinion of him.
Okay, so I am 100%.
Okay, so that was. So I'm gonna go now. Are we good, Irish?
No,
Jorge. Yeah,
Just
sorry.
listen to
Yeah,
you. I just
someone else
wanna
was
say
about to say
something.
something, and then Jorge, I do want to say something after that, and it's not going to come from a bad place. Go ahead, Wasabi.
Yeah, like if this is the way that you're headed and you're willing to listen to people, I'm 100% on board with that. I'm just going off of what I saw last night. And Becca, I don't know if you were there, but it was the same creator that the original call out was in. They held a second live later on, and Jorge came in and basically said that Irish is lying about Peterson and Blitz, and
I
that
think that
he
that is
didn't,
not
he
true. What
didn't
creator was this,
witness.
first of all? What
I
creator
don't
was
know their
this?
name, but it was the same creator that
It must have
that
been Karen.
it is the guy with the cats.
Oh. Oh,
Dean?
Dean.
Yeah. And when I questioned you about it, Jorge, you were like, you don't know what you're talking about. I don't know you. The thing is, Jorge, I do know you. I've had you blocked for several months because you were very problematic in women's spaces. I'm not going to go into that because that is neither here nor there. It doesn't have anything to do with this. But just know that the language that you were using defending Peterson, who this has been going on for months, the call out, okay? Months. There's been plenty of time for you to educate yourself about what Peterson has done that is horrific.
Respectfully,
We all
Wasabi,
found
I
out about it
respect
yesterday.
Wasabi. So you've had me blocked for months because of, I don't know. I think you can ask anybody on this app that has hung out with me. I only promote fairness and kindness. I have not done anything
Okay, well, that's just
untoward
not
towards
what you did
women, and
last
so I
month.
would say that
Well, hang on.
the fact that you have me blocked might call your objectivity into question. I do not remember ever saying anything about Peterson. Look, first of all, I don't know Peterson. Every time I've seen him, he has been rather
Then why would you
condescending. He
defend
has
him
been
last
rather
month?
condescending to folks. Blitz, on the
Then
other
why
hand,
would you
I
defend
do
him
know
last month?
Flix. I do not defend Peterson. Like
You
so we'll
did
just
though.
Wasabi, we'll just put it out here right now, since you have me here, and this is not hearsay. I am not defending Peterson in any of this. If he had minors in his server, it looks like that was the case. That was a bad move. And I saw some of the messages, Irish, where he was like making jokes that were inappropriate with minors. Very irresponsible behavior, wrong behavior. I condemn that stuff, right? And now attacking your character, Irish, in order to deflect from wrongdoing, that is inappropriate behavior, okay? Now, with respect to women, women deserve to be heard. I was raised by women. Only women. Now that one of them was a grandma from Mississippi, so that did leave me with some sexist tendencies. But I have worked my whole life to try to move past those. So Wasabi, whatever you heard and you had me blocked, good for you. But I will say right here and now, I disavow any behavior where you are treating women like less than your equal, when you're abusing women, using your position of power to manipulate women. And if you are a big creator, if you have servers where you're giving access to minors to inappropriate material, I disavow that too. Okay, so whatever you may think of me, I'm here right now saying all that stuff. Now, with respect to Blitz, I'm going to go watch the videos because I don't know Peterson. I have seen some of what you showed, Irish. I know Blitz, right? But in the same look, let's be fair. In the same way that I knew Nixie, right? So
Exactly.
how well do you actually know somebody?
What
But hang
you're
on, let
doing
me.
though, Jorge, what you're doing right now is the same thing that people like Ashton Kutcher did when Danny Masterson got convicted. You're
Exactly.
saying, because
Well,
I
hang
know
on.
this man, because he's a friend, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and he's a good person. He's not a good person. He's defending people who
Wasabi,
bullied and sexualized minors.
Look, I'm not going to attack anybody in this manner.
Well,
but I
Jorge,
just
Jorge,
asked
hang on.
respectfully,
I
let me
want to
just go
interject.
do my research.
Jorge,
I did my research.
Jorge, I want to
Go-
interject for a moment. Okay.
Go ahead, Irish. Go ahead.
Because where Wasabi's coming from, I understand based upon just a couple of things you've said in this live. This is not me attacking you, right? This is me giving you feedback, okay? And the feedback is lots of people have made allegations about me, right? And when my guy friends go to learn about those accusations, Ernesto's a good example. Ernesto does not join a panel and ever say Irish is a good guy. He never does that, because if you're doing that, you are automatically, or at least by implication, undermining the other person's story. Because what you're saying by saying he's a good guy, what you're saying is the allegations couldn't be true because I know this person is a good guy. And you're vouching for that person. You're making a statement in favor.
No, it's a
well,
subjective
hang on, let me just
statement,
finish.
Irish. It's a subjective statement.
It's a harmful
like,
statement.
What we know of people.
It's a harmful statement, Jorge.
Like to me,
Jorge,
that individual has always been
Jorge, I was respectful. Let me just finish.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to explain. It's a harmful. I'm not saying you're a bad dude. I'm not saying you're a scumbag. I'm not saying any of that. I'm trying to educate you. It is a harmful thing. It is a emotionally understandable reaction that we have. I understand we want to defend our guys. I get it, right? But it is a harmful thing that when someone says this man did bad things, for their friends to come forward and say, but he's a good guy. I vouch for them. That's what you're doing by saying they're a good guy. Ernesto, when he's ever joined a panel to talk about anything about me, I've never, ever heard him say, Irish is a good guy. Not a single time. And so that's what Wasabi is responding to is you were vouching for the person being accused, and you've got a big platform, whether you want to say you do or not. You've got a reasonably big platform. People are going to trust you because you've got a bigger platform, especially in a situation like that where it's me versus Blitz, right? Blitz has 250,000 followers. I've got 2, right?
Yeah,
And
understood.
you, as a 70,000, 60,000 follower account, are saying Blitz is a good guy. It has an impact. That's what I think Wasabi is trying to say.
Okay,
Or Wasabi, am I
and
misunderstanding that?
Wasabi and
No,
Irish
yes,
point
that's-
taken. I
That's
see your
totally
point.
accurate.
I-
Like
I-
Jorge,
I-
I'm 100% on board if you are in moving in a direction of listening and like educating yourself, and that's what we want, right? We want people to believe victims and be allies. Like I just had concerns after some things that you said last night. So if that's not where you're at anymore, that's amazing. But
Sure.
exactly what Irish said, when you vouch for somebody that has been problematic and is also trying to protect a predator, like it is very concerning. So
Understood. And the point taken. I understand how that could be perceived that way, Irish. I'll just be more careful on what I say. Completely understood.
Yeah, can I? Dude, there's a lot of people in the comments saying you're a good guy, right? And I hope I'm not being overly performative, but like, I didn't really say anything different than what Wasabi said. And just like a heads up, it does piss women off, and I don't blame them. That for some reason, when I say what they say ever so slightly differently, dudes hear it, and it's kind of fucking invalidating. And I just want to give you that heads up that, like,
Yeah,
that's not me saying apologize. That's not me saying you're a bad dude. It's me giving you a heads up that if you're having people block you, it may not be because they're biased. It may be because you're giving off subtle hints that you may not be aware of, that you seem to care to understand. And I would just tell you right now that, you know, there's not that many people watching right now, but I guarantee you 1 or 2 women saw you listen to me while you dismissed Wasabi,
I
and they're
did.
not going to block you, not because of bias, but because you've shown that you have a bias, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, I'm trying to work through the biases that I have, and they exist. And I have actually apologized to at least one woman on this app for perceiving that bias in the moment, like having her like basically talk to me in a tone that I think if like a man had talked to me and I told her, it's like I probably wouldn't have had the reaction I had. So I'm trying to work through that stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you're not. I'm just calling it
Yeah.
out. I'm just trying.
But
I'm trying to, like,
also Irish, you did not like accuse me of saying stuff that I really don't remember saying. So I think Wasabi is not telling the truth, whereas I think you're on here like doing it, like actually trying to tell the truth. So that's
Okay,
I also had a different
That's
reaction because
crazy.
of that Wasabi.
That's crazy, dude. I'm sorry. I'm gonna step in right here. I do
Yeah.
believe that Wasabi may have this recording, and I just don't want you to go any further and sounding
Yeah, so
kind of
so
dumb. No.
let me
Can you
see
just
it.
not? No. You're gonna shushies for right now, because I do believe Wasabi. I trust her. I don't know who the hell you are, but if you're like associating with these other men, it's not going to be hard for us to have biases against you. I want to believe you, but I do believe Wasabi, and I think that you should just chill on Wasabi for right now, okay?
Okay.
It's not going to look good on you,
I
okay?
understood.
Great.
Hey, look, I understand Wasabi. I'm not gonna sit here and not trying to call you a liar. I'm sorry.
You did.
If I
You
talked
just
over
called
you.
her a liar.
Yeah, so I don't
Jorge,
remember
hang on,
saying any of
Jorge.
those things.
Jorge, let me
Wasabi.
interject for a moment.
I'm sorry. That
I
Jorge,
said
I'll
just
just
let me
put it there.
interject for a
too
moment.
much. You're
Jorge,
doing too
I
much.
just want you to think for a moment, okay?
Yes.
After I said effectively what Wasabi had said, I only, like, I didn't know what. I'll be honest with you, your name was familiar to me over the past couple of weeks. I feel like I've seen you in my lives, and I feel like I had an immediate reaction to you where I was like, I don't think that guy likes me. And so when Wasabi was saying Jorge was calling me a liar, that tracked in my head, right? But I wasn't able to say what she said because I didn't know. She said what she said. I repeated it. You thanked me and you called her a liar. And I think it would have been, if you were being like a little bit more emotionally in tune, which it seems like you want to be, you could have maybe realized that because you were somewhat vouching and or defending these potentially bad guys, wouldn't it also be understandable? I'm not saying Wasabi misunderstood what you said, but wouldn't it be understandable for someone like who would be in Wasabi's position to maybe misunderstand or possibly exaggerate in good faith because of what you're saying was coming off as so harmful from their perspective that you were actively helping a bad person? And so I don't understand why you'd call her a liar. At max, she may have misunderstood, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe
But
there's a misconception there, and I will say that like I'm not like
no,
definitely
you missed
you
the
said
point.
hold on, hold on,
Wait,
Irish,
wait,
hold on,
wait,
Irish.
wait, hang on. You can respond, but wait, you missed the point. I muted you. I wasn't saying that she did exaggerate. You missed the point. What I was saying was there's no reason to believe she was lying. That's the point. So you have to ask yourself, why did you just thank me but call her a liar? Get it? Now on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, I understand. And
Jorge, it's misogyny. I'll give you
so-
the answer, okay?
So with respect to the creators there, I haven't come on here to support any of those. I said that I thought Blitz was a decent dude, and then but you have told me how that comment could be perceived in different ways, and so I'm taking your information into advisement. So, but the rest, I don't know Peterson. Like I said, I don't think he's been very nice to some folks. I've already spoken with respect to Nixie. And then with respect to Blitz, I'm going to go watch the video I was sent. That's your kind of your breakdown of everything that's going down in that server.
And there's been more going on too with him. Like, he's not a good dude. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah, so like just like with Nixie, I have the opinion I have based off of the interactions I've had with the person, and whether that makes me a bad judge of character or naive, I don't know. But I'll go try to gather as much information as possible.
After you watch, or even before you watch the video, can you do me a favor and just look into grape culture?
Sure.
Well,
Thank
hang
you.
on. Let me unwind a second because you skipped over my point again. You need, and Nutka answered it, but let me go back to it. You thanked me, but you called Wasabi a liar. And I'm just trying to say, Jorge, everyone in the comments is saying that you're being fair, you're a good guy and all that. And I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, right? Personally, I'm not actually hearing you. I'm not seeing you really listen or taking in what I'm saying. And I don't care. I'm not your fucking daddy, right? So if you leave this live and I never see you again, I don't care, right? But you are
He's my
telling me
daddy.
you're someone who does care, right? And I'm just telling you, if you are someone who does care and you are someone who's quote unquote trying to unpack, I'm just warning you, I would imagine that most of the women who are watching this live right now don't think you give a shit. And I don't think you realize that about yourself.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I do definitely want to be on the right side of this. And I'm sorry, Wasabi, if I was dismissive, but Arch, I never heard you actually tell me that I said things that I didn't say.
Okay, but you could have said that. You called her a liar. That's a different.
So I mean, if somebody tells me things that I didn't say, that I don't remember saying, Wasabi, I honestly do not remember ever defending Peterson because I don't know him. I don't know.
Do you
Peterson.
remember? Do you remember the conversation we had like 3 minutes ago?
Yeah. So I don't
Yeah,
remember
just-
Peterson.
No, but you were in
I don't
Echo's
know
Live
Peterson.
2 days ago.
Let
You were
go
in
of
Echo's Live
Wasabi.
2 days
Let it go
ago
for now.
defending Blitz,
You're
and you
looking real
didn't know
bad.
anything.
Yeah, so I will stand by. That's what I came. Right, I came in to talk about Nixie since I know him, and then the conversation wandered over to the Peterson server, and then yes,
Respectfully, Jorge, I'm a mod
yes.
for Irish, and a lot of people have been hosting lives about Peterson, and I've seen you in those lives.
I know I've seen it.
I've been in the lives, man. I am aware with what's going on with the server.
Blah, 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 blah. And that means that you've also heard things about Blitz, and like, yeah, it's just kind of
Tell
frustrating.
you in Echoes Live,
Um,
we interacted in the comments.
Yeah.
I
You were
definitely
defending
have.
Blitz as Irish was showing what Blitz was saying in protecting Peterson.
Yeah, I yes, I did say Blitz was a decent dude, but I did not spend a lot of time in there just defending Blitz. I want to gather all the information. And
You
look,
were
y'all,
there
I'm
when
trying-
the evidence was shown.
This whole gathering information thing is like so annoying. Irish has already gathered the fucking information, and
I
all
know.
of you have not taken the goddamn time to go and look into it in an in an objective way, in a way that isn't just like shrouded in misogyny and grape culture and toxic masculinity and boys will be boys. It's
Yeah.
so fucking frustrating. All of our souls are dead inside at this point. Like there's no there like just please go look into grape culture, look into toxic masculinity, take a step back from these men, look at it objectively, and apologize to Wasabi. You called her a fucking liar, dude.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Be
called you a liar,
respectful. You said
Wasabi.
you want to be
I-
kind and respectful,
so
and you keep
I-
jumping
I-
on her. Just apologize and move on.
I apologize for calling you a liar, Wasabi. I disagree with what I said about Peterson, but I do apologize for calling you a liar. I shouldn't have done that.
No, I appreciate that.
I do. I
and,
mean it. And
like,
look,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
see if I have it recorded. I don't think that I do, but
If you do, please share with me, Wasabi. Please share with me because I want to know, like, because
I will.
I'm getting older and it worries me. Like, am I just saying stuff I don't remember?
Hey, I have the
honestly-
memory of a goldfish too. Like that's totally fine.
Not trying to start any
But
fights.
The only thing I wanted to say is the only reason that what you were saying caught my attention is because you mentioned Peterson and you mentioned the screenshots. Otherwise, I wouldn't have even caught attention to what you were saying.
Yeah, and I may have mentioned
Well,
his
I
server,
don't have
Wasabi.
any reason to lie. Like I don't have any reason to lie about it, and like I wanted to question you about it because people do seem to think that you're a good person and that you are being supportive, and it just didn't. The math was not mathing for me.
I understand, but I think also when I first came in here, you said I was here to basically apologize for Nixie, and that was wrong. I'm
I
not.
didn't say
I'm not.
that.
No. That's not what she said. What she said was that you're someone. She suggested about you being on the wrong side of things, and immediately jumped to the Blitz Peterson thing. She never talked about you and Nixie.
No, so I actually asked Becca to help back me up on that. I think Becca has been there for this whole Nixie thing. The Blitz thing, I will say, is newer to me. I have been in your lives, Irish, and I have seen some of the stuff. And with respect to the research I'm talking about, Nutka, it is actually Irish's video. It's been sent to me, and so I'm gonna watch it. It's not. I'm not gonna go out and like be a detective on my own and like do stuff. I'm gonna watch Irish's video because
Would
he
you
has
like
done
me
a
to
good
send
job.
you the Google Doc of all the evidence?
If it's like
There's
different than
also
what's
an
in the
entire
Irish.
Discord filled with
Yeah.
hundreds upon hundreds of receipts, and you can ask Irish for that link, and I'm sure he'll be happy to let you in so that you can look at
Yeah,
everything just there, so that you can follow along in the video,
Yeah,
right, Irish?
So is the video sufficient, Irish? It's a 3-hour-ish video, I believe. Do you lay out your case sufficiently there?
I think I lay it out in the 5-minute video I have posted on this channel.
Oh.
That's pinned.
Oh, well,
Watch
I would really like that.
Sure.
Do you want to just play it right now?
I can
Irish?
play. Yeah, I can play it right now, and you can stop me because obviously during the video I'm playing, there's a lot of information that's being posted, right? And so you can ask me, can you pause there and tell me X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, let's do that. I like that. That's much better than the 3 hours, right? Because I'd have to sit there and focus for a while. But yeah, let's do it.
Give me one moment. Let me just pull it up.
This
Just make sure this is. Yep, this is the 5-minute one. All right, so give me 1 second.
this
All right, if everyone can mute themselves except for Jorge, and Jorge,
okay.
Tell me to pause whenever you want. All
I
right,
just
here we
want to mention something quickly. Jorge, I sent you the Google Doc if you want to follow along.
Okay, was that you? Who was that said that? It didn't show up on my screen.
Precure, the one box right below you.
Okay.
Oh, Precure. Okay, thank you, Precure.
is Planet Peterson, a 32-year-old teacher and content creator from California who enjoys a considerable platform on TikTok and YouTube. In late May of this year, Peterson was found to be operating a...
Let's stop there. His server had, at the time, between just under 250 members, meaning it was not a huge server.
Private Discord server that was filled with minors and children as young as 12 years old. Notably, these minors did not sneak into the server by lying about their age, and instead they freely disclosed their ages and that they were in high school or middle school. In other words, the evidence clearly shows Peterson and his friends knew there were minors and children in the server. Nonetheless, Peterson and his...
Now, I'm about to talk about the sexual harassment. This, to me, is one of the key screenshots. This is literally one after another. This is an adult saying to someone who they ID'd as an MINOR, you don't want to be hard. And there's like 10 screenshots of this guy talking about getting hard by the minor. And here then the person refers to the MINOR, they're defo in middle school. And then the adult says, oh, so you're soft. Meaning this person, like there's no question this person knows that they're in middle school. This to me is the most damning sentence.
Yeah, hey, that's fucked up. Excuse my language. But anyway, go ahead.
Regularly bullied these children, calling
These are screenshots of Peterson using, in my
Peterson and
opinion,
his friends
sexually inappropriate language and or the MINORs. So this is one MINOR asking Peterson, when is your next Cornhub video? I'm interested a lot, to be honest. This is a 14-year-old.
regularly bullied these children.
This is Peterson saying to a 15-year-old who's religious. He's mocking the fact that, you know, you went to a Cracker Barrel and you saw Jesus in a pancake by saying right before you got your back alley BJ from a crackhead to a 15-year-old.
Calling them names, using...
This is Peterson literally saying you're either a troll or an immature kid. And then the next message accusing that immature child of having anal schmittercourse with a dog last night.
slurs to harass them, sexually harassing and humiliating them, and otherwise being entirely inappropriate with the children. In addition,
this is an interesting one here
with the children,
where one of the MINOR says he was bullying me, and then Peterson says nobody cares about your hurt feelings.
In addition, Peterson and his friend.
This is someone saying to an MINOR, just because, remember I told you about that person who was saying they were getting hard and then they said middle school? Mm-hmm. This is another screenshot from that exchange. Just because I have a BONER doesn't mean I'm gay. I just imagined something. Yeah, I mean, I'm still hard, but that's just me being a man amongst other men. You're a boy. So, like, no question they knew it was MINORs.
Had men in the server that they credibly believed were pedophiles.
This is Peterson's second closest friend on Discord saying to his 17-year-old, shut yo blank blank up before I blank you. This word is interesting given what we've also recently learned. Boy, I'll take that blank and blanket. And then he says this, which I didn't realize was a thing until someone pointed out to me that means effing N-word. And when Blue was called out on this, he deleted that chat.
Or pedophiles.
This is, again, that same exchange that I talked about where they said defo middle school. I'm getting a BONER. I'm full chub. Then they talk about, I think the MINOR is a quote-unquote really hard man. Him and this user were talking for just a little, and now they're both rock hard men. I'm now super hard too.
When some people in the server asked Peterson to please remove the suspected pedophile.
So this is the suspected Petritio. What is wrong in loving a child? The MINOR says this is actually insane. Someone called the cops.
Peterson.
This person says, please get this guy out of here. Same guy. This is deplorable behavior. This is on April 11th. Peterson's response is, I kind of like laughing at how horrible he is. Peterson then, later that day, mutes him for 1 week.
Refused because he said it was funny and because he said he believed.
And then on April 20th, he comes back where he's asked, are you attracted to children? And he later says it's normal, to which this person says, I'm so confused. Is the dude actually saying it's normal to be attracted to MINORs? But like, why? Why is he like not banned? Because I believe in free speech.
In free speech. Instead, he simply assigned the men a Discord role that Peterson created, which labeled them as a pedophile. As a result of Peterson keeping the suspected pedophiles in the server, at least one of the suspected pedophiles privately contacted a minor. To be clear, none of the proceeding is in dispute.
This is where I show that they knew there were MINORs. Here's a woman talking about stuff she does. and they're asking her about more not safe for work pictures. She says, I would ordinarily do that, but I doubt everyone in here is 18 plus. To which Blue, again, Peterson's second closest friend on Discord, I'm pretty sure there's a dude in the server who's in high school, which means he's probably not 18 plus. Although there's a slight chance he is, meaning he's saying, yeah, there's people who are in high school, but ignore that they could be 18, so show us your tits. Like, that's what he's saying here.
Peterson's closest friends.
This is one of Peterson's friends who was defending Peterson, but then said, I don't know why Peterson never banned the Schmedophile, immediately knowing that Swagger was a Petritio or a pedo supporter, whatever you want to call it. Then they gave a public statement that says Planet Peterson is in the wrong for sheltering and protecting Petritios, bullying MINORs, saying schmexual stuff around minors. And then he was wrong, he says, for defending them without realizing that Peterson deleted messages that disclosed they were MINORs.
Have admitted that there were minors in the server, along with suspected pedophiles, and that Peterson failed to do anything, and that Peterson therefore endangered minors. Now, in addition to
this is Blitz admitting the allegations that Peterson did have MINORs. Things got a bit spicy, which makes this problematic, but probably not worth ruining his life over.
Peterson and his friends were revealed to be...
This is Blitz saying Peterson agrees he should have handled it differently. Is he going to apologize? I suspect Peterson won't apologize, though. That doesn't seem like it's in character for him. And then separately up top, he says, the Petritios have been banned for the while, and so have the MINORs, to which someone says, why the F is that even a sentence?
Deeply sexist and misogynistic.
This is Blitz admitting, my deepest concern was the bullying that was allowed on the server. He concedes there was bullying, but there was serious bullying happening.
As well as being anti-black. In his Discord server, Peterson advocated for the idea that black people who don't want white people to use the
Hey, Irish, can you pause for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will say, and we're going to keep going, but yeah, this is really bad stuff. Like, and to my point coming in here, I don't know Peterson, and I have never like backed him up. But what I've seen so far from Blitz is saying that the stuff that's going on in the server is not good, y'all. Like,
but
so anyway,
he's been protecting and defending him this whole time to this day. So let's keep going.
Yeah, we'll keep going. But yes, this is all really, really bad stuff. Go ahead, Irish. Not something you want to be doing as a responsible adult on any social media platform. This is not good.
Well, hang on one second, because when you're saying Peterson has been going around doing, Blitz has been going around doing blankety blankety blank. No, this is what Blitz has been doing. You just didn't know it.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, sorry, I didn't want to cut off the video. I just wanted to just interject in there from what I've learned so far from it.
But this is Blitz sliding into my friend's DMs. This is a couple of weeks ago. The info I've given suggests that Irish has intentionally left out context that redeems the allegations made against Peterson. Furthermore, Irish has already made an effort in lives to use my platform, and then when I refused, he defamed me. I never defamed him. Take that as you will, but I don't trust Irish to give good info. He was trying to get people to not believe me by making these claims that I was lying and leaving out context. And then, let me see what else. Then he's been Peterson's mouthpiece talking about the Petritios spreading misinformation. The Swagger guy was muted and then didn't say anything for a month. That's not what happened. He was muted 3 different times for 3 different weeks. And then he says, which is why he wasn't banned. That doesn't explain why he wasn't banned. The question is, why did Peterson keep muting the Petritios for a week and then letting them return? Because he didn't want to ban them because he believed in free speech. Blitz has been going around, hang on. And then when Blitz is defending Peterson, is then saying things like this. Ari masturbating to children my understanding is that we have screenshots of Irish actually posting, if you post this, I'll masturbate, and then says, and then also selfies of children in the same place. So he's going around telling people that I'm masturbating to children just to deflect from his friend. Like, and obviously this is false. So I understand what you're saying. You're saying all I've heard is Blitz saying what Peterson did was wrong. Well, respectfully, you're not looking. Because if you go into Dean's server, you'll see him defending Blitz. Pardon me, defending Peterson. So let me go back to the video.
Yeah, go. Let's do it.
Themselves racist, and that it's not fair that Polynesian people can use the N-word and Mexican people can use the N-word.
I just want to remind everyone, Peterson actually argues that if black people don't want white people to use the N-word, they're racist. And then he says it's not fair that Mexican kids can do it and Polynesian kids can do it. And then he says, so it seems like it's a no whites allowed thing.
But that saying the N-word is quote unquote a no whites allowed rule. He then reminisced about when he was in college and purportedly had black friends who he claimed would let him and anyone else use the N-word. Peterson also posted photos of black women in the server and mocked them, allowed people in the server to call young black children.
This is important. Peterson's argument, because he believes in free speech and because he believes your race should not change the words that are allowed to be applied, he would argue that people are apes because they're great apes, right? And in order to mock religious people, he would say, you are an ape, right? The problem is when obviously young black children were also being called apes in a mocking way, not as part of the debate, but just simply saying you're an ape. And then Peterson following up, and I checked his server, this is the only time he's ever referred to dark magic. And Peterson would allow these people to say, you're a fucking ape brain, you've just got a small ape brain, knowing that these are young black kids. That's deplorable.
Apes, even after it was explained to him that while all humans...
And again, Peterson's lying by saying that we only talked about humans being apes when we're talking about evolution. No, he's just being a dumb ape. He's a little ape brain. Again, they're talking about this 14-year-old black kid.
May indeed be great apes, it's entirely inappropriate to try to humiliate a young black child by calling them specific.
This was pointed out to him that given that Jesus is a person of color, this isn't cute. This is more problematic than what he thinks it is.
Specifically an ape. And he also allowed his very white friends to tokenize their very fictional black girlfriends in order to justify labeling black people.
This is the 18-year-old, the person who slid into the DMs of the 17-year-old. This is the guy who used the FN word, effing N-words. Mm-hmm. He says, hell, even my girlfriend who's black thinks black people are more racist than white people on average. Well, I guess she's mixed, but you could tell she's part black.
Most racist people in America. Peterson also held disgusting views about women.
Here he refers to women who have a higher body count as being used as public transportation.
He referred to women who had a higher than average body count as being run through like public transportation, made disgusting jokes about wishing for a time when women were subjugated to men, mocked women's appearances, asked for photos of his friends' asses, claimed women had no reason to fear men sexually assaulting them, and said women who claimed to...
Some of the stuff here he says is like disgusting.
Yeah, it's bad.
More than death.
I concur.
Here he says, I can understand people thinking they'd rather be dead than assaulted, sexually assaulted, but I don't think anyone really believes that. A quick Google search says rape victims are 13 times more likely to attempt suicide. I'd expect that number to be much higher if people would rather be dead. So any smart person in the world understands that using that stat to invalidate that claim is nonsensical. And then secondly, even if they were tied, a 13 times higher factor, like, it's disgusting.
are lying. In addition to all of this, Peterson also inappropriately discussed his students, naming them by their specific names, calling them fucking unbearable, saying that the kids he teaches makes him want to quit teaching, and talking about how his frustration with the children has caused him to react violently in the classroom by throwing chairs. Now, all of this went down in his Discord server that not only included minors and young children, but also likely included Peterson's own students. Because while Peterson pretended that his students didn't know about his platform, Peterson also posted very clear
Notice the planet as in Planet Peterson.
evidence that his students did know about his platform.
Notice the Planet Peterson.
And that they likely knew about his Discord server. Now, this may help explain why it is that although Peterson only got his master's in education in 2020, by 2022, just 2 years later, he'd already been shuffled to 4 different schools. And as of May 2024, he's been shuffled to no less than 5 different schools. Now, most disturbingly, when Peterson was asked to take accountability for his actions, he deleted incriminating chat.
This is Blitz admitting Peterson freaked out and deleted the chats for 3 of his threads. He was acting emotionally. That is bad but understandable. No, that's evidence of wrongdoing and guilt.
In his server, slandered those who tried to hold him accountable, and blocked anyone who has tried to call him out on his actions. Altogether, the evidence demonstrates Peterson had a Discord.
This is now Peterson's best friend on TikTok. I need to be clear, his best friend who hated me, but then we had a long, arduous conversation to which he said in Peterson's server, here's my take. The minor and others, let's just call this minor Sean. Here's my take. Sean and others wore MINORs. I'm not pointing fingers at who knew or didn't, but we have to admit we dropped the ball in this, and this led to Sean being messaged by Swagger, who we deemed as a Petritio. That's genuinely unacceptable. With the screenshot, and he's referring to a screenshot below, we did this server with the screenshot did endanger minors. We should accept that, and Irish is 100% correct on that. And then he goes on to say,
server where he exposed young minors to his deeply.
Now, I think this is a hard pill to swallow, but I think we need to throw our ego aside and realize, yeah, this server was fucked up, and what this server did was wrong. This is me asking to talk to Peterson so we could talk it out.
Sexist, misogynistic, and anti-black beliefs, where he bullied children and young minors and endangered young kids by refusing to remove suspected pedophiles from his server. Now, if you'd like to see the information and receipts for yourself, you can find more information and screenshots exposing Peterson on the YouTube channel called Planet Peterson Exposed. And you can also access all the screenshots on Discord by joining this Discord server or simply sending a friend request to Irish in NYC. Thanks for watching.
So, Jorge, what I need you to understand is you're saying Blitz said Peterson was wrong. Blitz spent weeks saying Peterson did nothing wrong, that I was a liar, that I was leaving out context, calling people who were going after Peterson that they masturbate to children. And now he seems to have admitted that there were minors, there was bullying, it was sexually inappropriate, meaning it was spicy, yet he has no problem with the fact that his friend won't apologize and take accountability and instead slanders people. I don't think good people do that, in my opinion.
Point taken and understood. And I will say that what you just showed points to a server that was at best toxic and morally wrong.
Yeah, but I guess the bigger problem is, why did Blitz, after seeing what I just showed you, go to defend this boy? That's the cultural issue. That's the grape culture issue, is we're so inclined to defend our people that when they do horrendous things, we invalidate the people who are speaking up against it. That's the problem.
Yeah, and then that's exactly what we're seeing, like on the Nixie side.
Yeah,
we're seeing the same kind of behavior, and I'm definitely not on the side of that on that side, but maybe on this side that maybe I am a little bit, just by virtue of what you just said, like the natural biases that we have as humans for the people that we know and like, right? But thank you for the info. Like I said, that server was bad, and I personally would not, given what you showed. Like I wasn't in the server, so I don't know all of it. And I know that we can take things out of context, but that seems like too much to have like just been taken out of context. Everything I saw, even if it was just taken out of context in that server, was just inappropriate things to be saying. I completely agree with you.
I hear what you're saying. I want you to understand the
No,
word
I don't support Planet Peterson at all. I never have.
No,
Yeah, okay, can I Irish?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was there the first time that Irish was trying to speak with Blitz about this, and he was literally just like, can you please just talk to him? Because some of this behavior is inappropriate. And I think this was before we even knew a lot of it. Is that correct, Irish?
What you guys knew, yeah.
Yeah. So, and basically verbatim, what Blitz said was, I don't care. And I can't tell you the level of like hurt that like the level of rage that a lot of us, especially women, feel when we hear things like that, which is like, I don't care. And it's like, that's his friend. Okay. And he's just kind of protecting him. But whatever. He said he didn't care. So I guess we won't hear from this guy again. But no, he was slipping into Irish's DMs. Sorry, not even Irish. He was slipping into Irish's friends' DMs, who just happened to be women, trying to kind of like guilt trip them and slander Irish and get them to come over to his side. And this has been going on for weeks, and he still continues to do it. And once the women, are like, actually, this is getting out of hand, you're not really taking accountability either, then he's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm so disappointed in you. Blah, 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 blah. But the one thing that really, I think, got all of us was when he said that it's not worth ruining his life over. And this is a phrase that us survivors and victims have heard a million gajillion times before, that it's not worth it. Whatever happened isn't worth it, because you don't want to ruin this guy's life. Like Brock Turner, that fucking creep who raped a woman behind a dumpster when she was fully passed out. They found leaves inside of her. She didn't wake up for hours. There was two men who were they were like exchange students on the campus, and they were going by on bikes, and they saw it. And thank God they actually did something about it, and he started to run away. They chased him down. They held him down until the cops came. They testified at the fucking trial, and he got 6 months, and then he was let go with 3 months, for good behavior. And he was an athlete, a swimmer, and his dad testified basically, or said in a letter or something to the judge, that his son shouldn't be punished for 20 minutes of fun, and that his life and career shouldn't be ruined over this. So that is the level, that is the weight that is behind just that one fucking sentence. Your friend is not a good guy. You need to look at Blitz. I don't give a fuck if you know anything about Peterson or if you know him, but just you're literally just glossing it over as if it doesn't have any weight behind it. It's so fucking frustrating. It's so fucking disgusting, and you all need to do better. Like,
thank you for the context on that. Thank you.
Look, I'm just not going to do that. Like, I just don't care enough. Not putting you on the spot.
I just don't care enough.
I'm just not going to do that. Like, I just don't care enough.
I think people are just at a breaking point where they're tired of people not caring, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I appreciate the context, Nuka, on that one phrase. Like, it's not worth ruining his life over, because I never considered that phrase in the way you just told me it can be considered, and so thank you for that. I mean, look, life is about learning stuff, man.
I think that all of you, at least ones who are willing to listen, like you, Jorge, and I respect you for staying on this long and having this discussion, because you have more balls than any of these fucking twats put together. I don't know if Irish would be into this, but it would be great if, like, he and Mac used to do great lives about grape culture and SA and things like that. I don't know if it would be like helpful to have some sort of space where people can just come and learn about that, where we can talk about that,
Or
where
Nuka,
we see
looking
it.
up the grape pyramid on Google.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
literally
and
just like actually having like an info, like I don't even know, but it's like come here to learn and we'll go
mhm.
through each and every one of these events and point out culturally and like socially the impacts that it has on people, even just
Mhm.
witnessing it online. It's disgusting, and like people need this perspective, and we need men to change. We don't need to
Yeah,
change. Y'all need to change. Y'all need to
I
grow. Y'all need to learn, and you all need to learn this stuff because it's getting really fucking tiring.
Yeah,
Well,
and men
well,
need to
hang
hold
on,
other men accountable.
Miss Daisy, just one sec. We'll let Jorge respond, just because I don't want him feeling as though he's not getting a chance to respond. And then Miss Daisy, you can feel free to.
no. So yeah. So I mean, my response was is I'm learning here, and Nutka on the other side of this stuff, on the Nixie side, you know, I see what you're talking about, like the kind of boys clubs just dismissing the behavior, and it's hurtful to the victims. And I definitely don't want to be on that side on a whole nother topic, which is this whole Peterson server side, just because I don't recognize that I'm doing that, right? And we do walk around with life with these blinders on, and I think it's important. So I mean, like, I genuinely thank you for expressing to me how these phrases what they actually mean, right? And then how there's a historical context and actual different meaning to that. And it's look, it's hard sometimes to look past this stuff when you're in the boys club. Look, I might, you know, I may be like half Mexican and whatever, but at the end of the day, I am in the boys club. And I recognize that comes with certain privileges and also certain blinders. And look, I'm really trying. I
Thank
have been
you. I
trying.
appreciate it. I
I
really
am
do.
really trying to be better. And it took work because, like I said, I was raised with a bunch of women, and my grandma was from Mississippi, so she had very specifically defined gender roles, and I grew up with that shit.
Yeah,
You know, and so
I
I'm
don't
trying to
think
move past
We all
that.
did, dude.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
not
Jorge,
new.
yeah, Jorge. I don't think lots of people were in it, so like that's not a problem at all.
Yeah.
What I might suggest is there. This seems to be a thing I've just noticed in STEM because there's been a lot of people going to bat for these people.
Mhm.
You just may want to consider like maybe doing a live or two on a social science topic like grape culture and having someone like, I don't know if you know Miss Kenzie, maybe coming up and just like using that as an opportunity to like introduce your audience to it because I am noticing kind of like a deafness or a tone deafness amongst a lot of the bigger creators in this area. And like, I'm not trying, like, I hate how Blitz like made it sound like I was trying to force his hand. I'm not forcing you to do shit. I'm just noticing there seems to be a need in your area. There seems to be creators that are being called out for really problematic behavior. It could be very helpful for someone like yourself to use your larger platform someone who's really educated on the topic like Miss Kenzie is, and maybe use it as a social science sort of day or social science educational video and or live you do so that it starts changing some of it, if that makes sense. I'm just throwing that as a suggestion for you to consider.
That's
You don't have
such
to
a good
answer it.
idea.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that into the consideration. I come into this with the view of like, and it's naive, I will grant that, like, I just want to be on this app and just like promote good science. But people are important. People are more important than what we know, right? So I will I'll
Well,
take that
there's
under
science
advisement,
behind
figure out
all
a
of
way to
this
do
too.
it.
There's
Yeah,
science behind all
yeah.
of this too. There's stats, there's the
Mhm.
effects that trauma has on the body, on your central nervous system, how
Yeah.
it stays with you for life, and it's very hard to get rid of. It impacts all of your relationships, everything around you. And yeah, I think what Irish said would be a great first step. Like literally, if you want to know more, Miss Kenzie or somebody like her is great to go to, and their perspective is needed.
Maybe
Like
you
you,
could come on, Nutka.
I am not the person to
No,
speak
She
on
is not
that.
the person. She's the person to join a panel where we have
I
to hold the
understand.
guy accountable.
No problem. Just the way
She's
she was
our
talking,
yeah.
and she was pretty clear, and it helped me understand. So that just anyway, that's
Oh,
fine.
she is.
No pressure, no pressure.
But we
Yeah,
need to
I
save
will
her
be
for the
there
fight.
to watch though, for sure.
Well, I just wanted to thank Nutka for mentioning the Brock Turner thing because Jorge, I realized while Irish was playing that video, like why what you said like caught my attention and triggered me because it was almost word for word
Mm-hmm.
what Blitzy had said. The whole like the screenshots that Irish has, like he's not giving context, like almost word for word is what you said in that live. So I don't know if you have just seen it before, or if he has messaged you and said the same thing, or if you're just really trying to defend someone you thought was a good person. But what is important, and another thing that, oh, when Peterson is talking in his Discord about like women choosing the bear and he doesn't believe us when we say that we want the bear, because the woman who was attacked by Brock Turner, I bet most people don't remember her name. I bet they don't. And I bet that the judge who literally said Brock Turner is a good person and a good student and a good swimmer, and this doesn't, like, we shouldn't ruin his life. I bet the judge didn't think about how that would affect the woman. But as a victim myself, I have been told the same thing. I've been told that because I knew the person who assaulted me, that it wasn't really assault. Like, and men don't really understand that. And I'm glad that she got through to you on that point, because even the people who are just like demanding proof from these victims of Nixie, they're doing the same thing. Like, victims don't owe anyone proof. They don't owe you our horror stories. They don't owe you your trauma. They don't owe anybody that. And for them to like be yelling at people who are assisting victims, to be holding lives where they have actual victims on the panel and telling them that they're horrible people because they did not come forward soon enough, is abhorrent. And I just wish that men would just believe us when we speak and when we talk about these things.
And in that case, there were two people who were a witness. That guy should have been put away for a very long time.
For everyone's information, Brock Allen Turner changed his name. He now goes by Allen Turner, and he lives in Ohio, and you should all never let him forget what he did.
So I do want to go back to Jorge. Like, again, remember when you said that Wasabi is lying? When you say Blitz is a good guy, you're echoing the words of the judge, where he said that Brock Turner was a good man who has a good future in front of him. And so that's why I'm trying to say that, like, you took it immediately to lying as opposed to realizing the social context for what seems to be very simple words for you to have used that are extremely loaded for people. And one thing I would say is, you said that you want to just get on here and like educate people, which is amazing, right? That's not what I'm here for. So like, or not broadly speaking, that's not what I'm really here for. But if that is what your goal is, what I would recommend just to consider, and I'm not trying to be a preachy bitch, and I'm sorry if I'm coming off like that. If you don't show you somewhat care about these kind of things, and I'm not saying you are or are not, you're only going to be talking to 50% of your audience, right? Because women are just going to tune you out, which is why you probably have women like Wasabi who are blocking you, not because you want to be a bad guy. You probably don't want to be a bad guy, but you may be tone deaf to the things that are communicating to people that you're a bad guy. And I just, recommend you might want to think about the benefit to you in learning what those sort of trigger words are. Like when someone said, get a little bit more educated on grape culture, you may be broadening that base if your whole point is to educate people. And the people in the comments, I'm going to let Jorge have a final word. I'll talk about what's going on with Nixie, Peterson and Blitz. I assume everyone already knows. We'll give a summary in a couple of minutes. Hopefully Deep Sky can actually give the summary on Nixie. But Jorge, you've been extremely patient, which I really do appreciate and respect. You've taken what a lot of people consider heat and stuff, and so I appreciate that as well. And if you want to connect to me on Discord, it's Irish NYC, same username, all lowercase. In order to follow up on anything, I'd be more than happy to, man.
Yeah. No, well, so I appreciate you being up here, and I appreciate you, Nutka and Wasabi. And once again, Wasabi, I apologize for calling you a liar on that respect. I was, when I first came in, I was triggered by you telling me that, I was backing Nixie. I'm not. I'm really trying to listen, and I'm sorry that I'm a human, so it was my mistake. I got into my feelings a little bit. I'm not. I want to be here to listen. Go ahead. Did you have something to say?
100% accept that, and I appreciate it. And I will unblock you, and we can have discussion if you want. I appreciate it, because so many people will not sit in these lives, or so many people won't sit and hold any accountability. And so I appreciate you being in here and being willing to listen.
Yeah.
But the way you just phrased it as well, Jorge, I got in my
Irish,
feelings
hold on.
was so perfect. Was so
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Like that was perfect. You were like, yeah, I fucked up. I'm only human. I didn't mean it. My bad. That's all people want is people to be like, yeah, I did stumble. My bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and like I said, and there's still this trace of sexism in me where I do react a little more strongly to when women say stuff to me. But I'm really working on it. It's getting a lot better. Like so, and that's just something as a human I'm trying to overcome. And I think with respect to all of this, like we dudes, and you know, I was in a live earlier where it just was blatant. Like we just need to shut up and listen sometimes. So I'm sorry if I overtalk y'all sometimes. I do want to like absorb information. You have a perspective that I can only like kind of empathize with, right? As I said earlier, I'm a dude that grew up in the dudes club. So I'm here to listen and to learn whatever I can. And when I'm doing things that are triggering to folks, please know I am not doing those intentionally. I'm doing those out of ignorance, right? And I do subscribe to like, let's not attribute to malice what is probably most likely due to ignorance. And this is not with respect to that whole situation that's on the screen there. This is with respect to our interaction, right? And I'm, you know, sorry for my ignorance, but I am here to try to learn this stuff.
Yep,
And
that's
everything
fine.
y'all have told me, I'm taking under advisement. I probably will go find. I have some. I think I have some science friends like in the psychology, psychiatry part of science, and maybe do a live there with respect to like mental health and abuse and grape culture and that kind of stuff, and so we can all learn a little bit about that, and so I can learn. And,
Okay.
and so thank you for having me up. Thank you for giving me the 10-minute version of the video. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just before you go, I wanted to say one thing. I don't know if I fully mentioned this before, but like how Blitz was messaging women and blah, blah, blah. He tends to avoid speaking to men that are especially on, you know, against him, I guess, as he would see it. Like he's been avoiding Irish and other men who have reached out to him. If you reach out to him as a friend, just know that you're going to get probably a lot of wrong information. I do recommend joining the Discord with all of the receipts so that you just have it all ready to go. And yeah, again, doing your research on grape culture and toxic masculinity and all those things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But
drop
you are
thank you.
legitimately one of the only guys to come up here
Who's even come
and
up. I
face
agree.
this. So
Thank you. I want to listen and learn and all this matters. So thanks for having me, Irish, Wasabi, Nutka, Precure.
Appreciate you coming
Thank
on.
y'all.
I'll drop you now.
All right, bye.
Just to give a summary to people who are in the comments who aren't aware, and I'm going to bring up someone.
I'm
who
going to
just
drop
joined the
down
room.
too.
Sure.
Bye.
So just a very quick summary. On the right-hand side is Planet Peterson. He's got a following of 350,000 people on TikTok. He's got a YouTube following of about 10,000 people. Planet Peterson was exposed. He had a Discord server where we got to see his grossly misogynistic, sexist, and anti-Black perspectives. We also found out in that server he had multiple MINORs and that he permitted schmexual language to be used around the MINORs, and that he also had people in the server who he credibly believed were P-Tridios, who he kept in the server until they did something illegal. Literally had to admit to illegal actions. But if they said that they find children attractive, they didn't get bounced. And that people asked to ban them and he refused. Planet Peterson was reported to a school on Thursday. There was a school board meeting held, and someone reported at the school board meeting. They said they were going to investigate it. Peterson then slid into the DMs of someone and said the investigation's no big deal. The school was then notified about that. That's Peterson. Blitz has been defending Peterson. Blitz has been saying that Peterson is a good person.
Yeah, I know all about this stuff. I've been
Sorry, Ancient, just let me just summarize for people who don't know in the comments. That's all I'm doing. So Blitz has been defending Peterson by telling people that that Peterson has all the receipts that prove that the allegations against him are false. Blitz has been going around calling people who are calling out Peterson that they're lying and leaving out critical context. Blitz has been personally going around about me telling people that I masturbate to children, which is like a ridiculous false claim. Blitz has been sliding into people's DMs in order to get them to stop bringing heat to Peterson. And Blitz has been going on lives telling people that the people calling out Peterson are liars and are not trustworthy people. And when Blitz has been called out for that, Blitz has only really engaged with women from what I know. And in my opinion, he's tried to like guilt trip them into not calling him out by saying that he's super disappointed in them for not like believing him, for not doing the right thing by him, that the people should be ashamed for them trying to hold him accountable. Just very, very gaslighty behavior. And I'll happily show my DMs with Blitz, which to me kind of show what kind of person he is. As for Nixie is someone who has also been defending Peterson and has been in multiple of my lives where I was calling out Peterson. I saw Nixie in the comments multiple times, and I had talked on my live that I was going to be reaching out to Nixie about this. And it's interesting because in Peterson's server, they talk about me reaching out to Nixie and that Nixie was going to be the next person. And then they talk about like a boys club with Peterson, Nixie, what is it they're referred to as the Kraken crew, that Eric, and that's Eric Peterson, is an honorary part of the Kraken crew like Blitz and Nixie. And it just turns out that Nixie last night was exposed for emotionally manipulating and taking advantage of 17 different women. And as to those specific allegations, Deep Sky is more informed than I am. I've only talked at some length with one of them, but we had two other women up here talking about their claims against Nixie. But Deep Sky, can you summarize some of the claims broadly or specifically?
Sure. Yeah, and Becca can speak to this as well. I've been on TikTok since 2019, so I've seen a lot of kind of weird stuff go on, but this one sort of hit a little close to home for me. So my perspective of what happened several months ago, I started getting messages from people that I deemed friends here on TikTok who were reaching out to me to tell me that a certain creator had been sexually inappropriate with them in chats, on Snapchat, and some other places. Okay, he would lead them away from TikTok using his platform as sort of an anchor, if you will. I asked all those victims how they wanted to proceed with what was going to happen next. Unanimously, they told me and a couple of others to wait and to let them decide when their time was right to come forward. I 100% respect that. I agree. And that's what we did. Nixie would groom women from what it appears. And I have seen screenshots. And for those of y'all that are demanding evidence, you don't get evidence from people that I have told that I will remain confidential. You just don't get it. So over time, as these victims come forward, then they'll come with their own truths. This isn't my fight. This isn't Irish's fight. We are just being a voice for those who are too afraid, and I will stress that word, afraid, to come forward about these men because they hold a position of power with their follower count. Okay, whether you agree with that or not, I don't care. That's what's happening. These men have large accounts and they groomed women to send them sexually inappropriate materials, even if they're consenting, whatever, that doesn't matter. Because some of them weren't consenting and were getting unsolicited stuff from him. And there's evidence of all this. A lot of it happened on Snapchat, which unfortunately for all of us, Snapchat does remove that kind of stuff. And not only that, Snapchat lets the user know if you take screenshots of certain things. So then therefore you can't even really take the evidence from that platform and use it as such without getting immediately blocked and whatever else. I am not going to name victims, even though I have been given permission by one of them. I'm not doing that. I told every one of them, and I will stand on this for forever, that I am just here to support them in whatever way was necessary. They have been waiting for their moment to come forward. They did it, and now I am here standing with them, standing alongside them to get their story out. So again, to recap, Nixie was using his profile, allegedly, to solicit women off the app and get them to send sexual images and this sort of thing. I've heard some very disgusting descriptions. I've seen some screenshots, and it's not just Nixie. There was at least one other creator that I know of who did this as well. And when those victims are ready to go after that one, we will support them as well. So that's what I know. Becca is probably even more well-equipped to talk on this than I am, so I'll shut up now.
Becca, is there anything you want to add about those specific allegations? Then I want to say something, and then Ancient wants to say something.
I do. I mean, Will encaptured very well. I want to say that several of these women came to different friends of theirs on this app at different times. So even the ones of us that know what happened to each other, like Will and I, have not exchanged lists of who knows who, or who knows what, or who the victims are, unless they have come out and talked to us both. So we are being very respectful of the women, and let me tell you, in other circles, we are getting attacked for respecting the women's wishes and not showing receipts and naming names and show me now. Like, they're not the court. So, like, that's been a big issue yesterday and today. But yes, it seems to be, it's usually followers who admire him and want to learn more about science, and oh hey, come to Snapchat, I'll send you astronomy pictures, and like you can't do that anywhere else. Like, really? And yes, some things were consensual, and then they would think they're in a relationship, and then maybe they'd want to like move to him, but he would never give them enough information. He's married and would lie and say he's single. They all thought they were the only one, and were under the illusion that they were in a relationship. And then when they would get red flags and start to back off or not answer right away or want to break things off, he would apparently get demanding and aggressive, and in some cases threaten certain things. And he is very intelligent and tech savvy. And additionally, his credentials are in question. So there's a lot going on in our community right now, and we are just trying to support the victims in what they want so as not to re-traumatize them.
Yeah, and so what I wanted to say very quickly is to some of the people in the comments, for people saying go to law enforcement, first of all, I don't know if there's an allegation there's been a crime, okay? Second of all, for anyone saying go to law, guys, you're naive as to what law enforcement does. Law enforcement just wouldn't care. On this app, I've helped report more than a dozen grapes at this point. And the, percentage of cops who give a shit where there's follow-up, it's almost been non-existent. That's what people who've been physically raped in person. And you guys are thinking that they're going to do something to Nixie. Like, you're just wrong. You just don't know how it works, okay? And it's really kind of, it's not offensive. It's just really naive on your part to be like, let law enforcement handle it. This is a social situation. This isn't someone who necessarily broke laws. This is just someone who's engaging in really horrible social conduct. And we, I think, fairly think there should be social consequences. Nobody's saying he needs to be hanged. No one's saying he needs to be unalived. Nobody's saying he needs to be in jail. But as someone who is a very large platform, if you're engaging in really bad, horrible, harmful social conduct, you don't get to be protected from being called out. and you're not entitled to keep that platform. So I feel like what people are simply doing is bringing these allegations to light. And when you respond by saying, give me the evidence or innocent until proven guilty, those are those are legal concepts. Nobody's charging this person with a crime. You have to remember that we judge people by a legal standard when they're at risk of losing their liberty, okay? When we're trying to take away a person's life, we have beyond the reasonable doubt. When we're suing someone in court, it only has to be 51% likely to be true in order to award someone. 51%. And in this situation, we're literally talking about taking away a person's social influence. And y'all are saying you need to be beyond the reasonable doubt. No, in social situations, you don't even have to have much doubt in order to be able to condemn a person.
Irish, can I interrupt? I'm sorry. I'm seeing in
Sure.
chat. I want to clarify. None of these allegations are about MINORs. None of them for Nixie. So I saw someone in chat say that, and though he's like connected to these other
Thank
guys,
you for setting that down.
yes,
Shutting
nothing.
that down.
I went in another live where these men were attacking, and I went up there and I shut that down too, because I am all about, calling people out, but I am not about false allegations.
I agree. And to Jeremiah in the comments who said defamation is a serious crime. First of all, defamation is not a crime. It's not a criminal act. Secondly, it's not defamation if it's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, they're not able to dispute the accuracy of any of these statements, my guy.
How can I defame someone when I had multiple victims approach me in multiple ways and do and tell me what their experience was? And it's very strange that none of them were really speaking to each other about it. They all had the same story. So
All of them didn't even know each other until we helped them get support and connect with each other.
Yeah. And Irish, can I say one thing? And then I was going to drop down.
Sure.
Well, two things. The first is that Becca and Deep Sky and a friend of mine who does not want to be named at this time, I freaking love all of you, and I appreciate the way that you have advocated for these victims. And I wish that more people would do that. To the people saying get law enforcement, I had evidence, witnesses, everything.
They don't do anything. It's a matter about how.
I went to trial, and because I knew the person, they found against me because I knew them. And the other thing, Irish, is I want to make you uncomfortable for a minute, and I'm sorry, but I appreciate the
Wasabi, love you.
unabashed way that
Love you to death. Anything else you want to share, Wasabi?
No,
You gotta
but
put it in
I will
writing,
tell you
otherwise he
that
freaks
you're
out.
a good person, and we appreciate you, and I don't care if that is hard for you to hear.
Oh, it's a compliment.
God damn it. No, Irish, you get a really bad rap sometimes on this app, but your advocacy for victims and for women is through the roof, and we appreciate you so fucking much. So
No problem at all.
now you can drop me.
Thank you so much. Ancient, you've been patient. What is it you'd like to share?
I would like to share that, like, so like the Discord server stuff. I was one of the anons that I think that all this, what you're talking about, is connected with a Discord server. It was the main big one. It's called Purple Palace.
Okay, go on.
Well, it was weird. I was investigating. Well, what we
What is the Perfect Palace?
What we anonymous do. We investigate. We help out.
But what is the
people.
Purple Palace?
What you're talking about.
I don't think anyone's talking about a Discord.
Using women and taking advantage of the situations and stuff. And
That's
a
a
lot
little
of
vague.
lot of people that had this happen to them, like the females and.
All right, I'm not really sure. You can come back if you are able to explain what the Purple Palace is. Otherwise, I'm a little confused. Sorry. To anyone else who has any questions as to what's going on,
I actually want to add,
Yeah, go ahead.
the end of this, well, not the end of the story, but the most recent part of the story is yesterday morning. Well, so Nixie had claimed that, because he does debates with flat earthers, and he had claimed that he had gotten unalived threats from flat earthers. And I think he had gotten word that we were all talking and finding him out, because he shut off comments on his server one day. And then the next morning, I was the only mod that was unmodded, blocked, and he quit as my mod. And so I'm assuming he found out that I've been reaching out to women to find out what's been going on. And then next thing we know, his TikTok's down, his YouTube's gone, his Snapchat is gone, and just nowhere to be found. So again, he wants to control the narrative, I believe, that he got an unalived threat from a flat earther, but it's way too coincidental.
I'll you're saying it's way too coincidental. I'll just say he's a fucking liar. The timing of it is too odd. Let me say it very clearly. Nixie, I think, is trying to claim that he had been threatened by a flat earther, and that's why he's off TikTok. That's nonsense. The timing of it is just too coincidental. That's a lie. I don't even know much about Nixie. I had started looking into him because of the Planet Peterson thing. And I'd watched like a couple of his lives. I watched his Radioactive live a couple of days ago. And this is not someone who ran away because someone threatened his life. Okay. It's just not what happened. This is someone who got caught with his pants down. And I'm not saying that he deleted all this because he thinks he engaged in criminal conduct. He's either really embarrassed by what he did, he knew the allegations were true, whatever it is. It's a indirect admission of guilt. I've been accused of so much crap on this app. You don't run away from it. You don't delete everything and disappear. I've had so many death threats made against me. So for him to be claiming, oh, someone threatened to unalive me, so I gave up my million follower account, it's nonsense. It's a pure lie. He ran because he got caught. Because if it had anything to do with Flat Earth, why did he delete his TikTok? Pardon me, his Snapchat. Is he sexting flat earthers that he thinks is going to unalive him on Snapchat? No, he deleted his Snapchat because that's where the evidence is.
I can add to that too. We had eyes on his Snap score, which if you don't know, every time you send a picture, your score goes up. And that number was rising by over 150 a day, even while he was live.
Damn. That's a lot.
Dude. I use Snapchat to KAM.
What's KAM?
Kenzie, I don't have your Snapchat.
Kenzie's giving out her Snapchat to other people, not me? All right.
Ancient, I know you're doing the whole anonymous thing, but if you're going to like cite internet lore, you should know it's expect us, not accept us.
Yeah, honestly, Ancient, like a lot of what you were saying just seemed to be someone who was pretending to be anonymous, because like Anonymous in theory has engaged with me multiple times on lives. They never join and talk. They would never do that. Like, respectfully, they would never do
Announce
that.
they're anonymous,
Yeah.
like obsessively, and then do it incorrectly over and over again.
Yeah. Sorry, Ancient. If there's something like you really have to add, like say it in the comments and people can review it and let me know if y'all think it's credible, because I want information. But when you're talking about the purple something and like nobody's made a single allegation about a purple anything, it just seems a little confusing. What's up? Do I really have to call you that? Buying the dip? GameStop? What's up? What's your take?
Hey, what's going on, bud? How you doing? Thank you so much for having me. Just FYI, I have my podcast going on at the same time where we're actually on here. I just really wanted to know, and thank you so much. Hey, hello, son, shout out. I couldn't agree with you more on your last words. You literally took the words out of my mouth. You kept on speaking about exactly what I wanted to elaborate on. Not only that, what really gets me is that, like in my channel, is what we try to really share is always like the truth, including like the flat earth and stuff. And I heard about this recently, and I was like, I don't get it. Why would a flat earther threaten Nixie and then he would delete all of his account? It just didn't click in my head. At the same time, think about it like this. If flat earthers are trying to support the truth and that is what they say it is, then why do you...
I would kill myself before one of you guys kill me.
He's a flat
You're
earther.
so
and
boring to
yeah.
listen to. I'm
That
sorry.
was so awkward. Nathan Thompson all the time, who is a known, who has, definite allegations against Nathan Thompson.
Wait, someone just messaged me in the comments saying you know all about Nathan. Who is this Nathan person?
Nathan Thompson is a flat earther who has gone to schools, elementary schools or some kind of school in general to promote flat earth. And that's very well-known stuff.
Handing out flyers, talking to kids, calling them over, all sorts of weird stuff.
Yeah. Oh, got it. Interesting. Yes. Okay, got it. Maligator, what's up?
Hey, I'll just take less than a minute here of your time and then I'll hop off and let someone else up here. I just wanted to say that I saw you on someone's live. You were a guest, I guess maybe about a month ago, and I could not believe...
I believe you're a QB supporter, so we'll just bring someone else up. What's up, Thurf Destroyer?
Hey, yeah, just going back to Nathan Thompson, he's also been arrested for trying to bash his girlfriend. So, and for Dip to come up here and say, flat earthers wouldn't do anything like that, it's a bit fucking hypocritical. He's always platforming Nathan on his lives, and they support him, which I don't understand. So, and that's why I said to you before, Irish, you should have in that photo, you got that background, you should have Nathan up there as well.
Yeah, I didn't know who Nathan was, and let me be
clear.
Yeah,
you said that. Yeah, and I understand.
I think you should add Globy McGlobeface. If you add Globy McGlobeface, it would be very fitting.
Yeah, so whoever
add Globy
needs to be up there
McGlobeface
should be
because I have a video of him on my page.
Guys,
screen
slow it down.
recording
Guys,
from April 12, 2024 of Globy McGlobeface chatting up
slow
a
it
team.
down for a moment. I get it. So if there's someone, if you want to send me any information on anybody else, my Discord is Irish and NYC. Feel free to do so. I just don't want to derail it from these three people. So Nathan and Globe, whatever. I just don't know enough about them to talk about it. But please send it to me. I'll happily revise this screenshot and do another screenshot because it's been sort of crazy to me how much a lot of guys in STEM have been defending all of this nonsense. But I'd like to keep a focus on these three. For the people who just came in, again, Planet Peterson on the right had a Discord server filled with minors where he would permit schmexually inappropriate statements to be made to and around the minors. Blitz has been defending Peterson while making false sexual claims about the people who are calling out Peterson. And Nixie has been exposed by 17 women who've come forward to say that he has been abusing his position, is really what it comes down to, I think, by luring them off app, building up trust with them over time, slowly escalating his behaviors by sending him photos with him and his shirt off, then asking for reciprocation that they didn't sign up to provide, and then getting really upset when they didn't do it. And as a result of that coming out last night, Nixie deleted his TikTok today and is pretending he did it because he had a threat on his life. Kenzie, how often do you get threats on your life? It's nonsense.
I actually don't get a lot.
Well, way to show off.
I was just gonna say though, it's really killing my vibe. I'm in a jokey, horny mood, and this is not the life for me.
We could do a late night Sunday live.
Definitely
not in a couple of hours, no
I just want to
problem.
address something quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
For
Preacher.
people in the comments, this is not a flat Earth live. I don't know why there's so much flat Earth stuff going on.
Because a lot of these people hate Nixie. That's why. The flat earthers are loving this because of Nixie. They hate Nixie.
All y'all kind of people hate flat earthers. You should probably add Bob, the science guy, up there too.
Why?
He was caught blackmailing a female.
Yeah, hang on. Wake, bake. As I said, I'm happy to add on to this. Feel free to message me on Discord. let me know whoever's done horrible things that you think should be called out, and I'll happily do so. But by talking about other people, I fear that we may be distracting from these tree of them.
Yeah, and let's call females women. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit icky.
So is there, oh, and he's gone. So is there anyone, okay, we have a couple other people who are trying to join. Guys, I want to be clear. I want to reiterate again. Look, being called out is difficult. It can be embarrassing. It can cause a lot of anxiety. It's not fun to mess up and have everything be public, right? And when you have a larger platform, then it becomes more public, right? However, it comes with what you're doing. If you're going to be building a platform, you're thereby building influence, you're thereby building support, and you are creating a trust with your followers. And if you're going to abuse that trust by engaging in really bad activity, you need to be mature enough and humble enough to take the slap on the wrist. I don't think this live is about saying that we all don't make mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's how these guys are responding to the mistakes, right? It's not that Peterson had minors in his server where there was sexually inappropriate behavior. It's that when it was brought to his attention, he lied about it. He blocked people to silence them. He slandered them. It's not that Blitz is friends with that type of guy. It's that he did the exact same thing. He told lies. He tried to slander people in order to protect his boy. Nixie sliding into women's DMs, but then being told, you know what? They're not interested. They don't want to do this. And for him to get entitled by getting angry at them for not reciprocating, it's their reaction to being called out and their bad behavior that, to me anyway, is why I think it's deserving for these people to be called out. And normalizing this by saying, a lot of guys do this kind of thing. Like a lot of people were saying what Nixie does. There's a lot of guys who lie to women to have sex. That's not a good thing. That's not an argument. That's the problem. That's exactly the problem. If you're having to lie in order to be able to engage sexually with women, then you've got a major problem and you need to go and rethink a different approach.
That was literally a response today. Oh,
You know,
to get some.
I always wonder like how out of one side of the mouth men are like it's such a small portion of men. And then on the other side they're like, "Oh yeah, a lot of guys do that." Like, sir.
Well, I don't know if you were there, Kenzie, when the person, Barton Rutledge, I think his name was, who was running that live, when Barron, thank you.
Yeah.
When he was told that Nixie was lying to women in order to engage with them sexually, his response was, go to any bar in America, and most of the men are doing the same thing. And he thought like he ate with that.
Right. It's like they know.
Yeah,
They know.
it's a weird thing to say, isn't it?
They know and they don't think it's wrong. That's the problem.
That's the bigger thing, is them not wanting to make it wrong, is them wanting to normalize
I feel
it.
like not all men is just like a gaslight.
Well, I don't know.
No. Flurf, anything else you'd like to add? If not,
No,
I'll
no,
just
no. Thanks for having me up. I'll drop down for someone else. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Appreciate you coming up, brother.
Have a good one.
Again, a quick summary for people who are coming in a little bit late. Very simply, Planet Peterson had a server where he was endangering MINORs. He had multiple MINORs in there in addition to self-reported P-Tritios, and he refused to remove the P-Tritios. He also was using sexual language towards MINORs, as well as having other people do the same, and did nothing about it, all in addition to just having really disgusting, sexist, misogynistic, anti-black attitudes. Blitz has gone to bat defending Peterson by lying, by defaming people, and by trying to silence people. And Nixie is being exposed, apparently, as of yesterday, for trying to emotionally manipulate and take advantage of his position with regard to 17 separate women, specifically guiding them off the app into Snapchat, where he would then proceed to escalate in the images that he would send, and then get really upset when they didn't reciprocate. Gemini, what's your thoughts?
So I've been talking to Peterson for a while, and him being friends with this Professor Nixon dude. Is it okay if I send you some things, Irish, on Discord?
You can also just talk about it here.
Sorry,
don't-
Gemini. Can I butt in? The Son of Africa has been antagonizing a bunch of people about his flat Earth ideas, so I don't think you really want him to be in the panel. It was brought to my attention.
Is he up here right now?
Yeah, the Son of
Oh.
Africa, the guy with the lion.
All right. Are you just a flat earther, Son of Africa?
First of all, thanks for having me up here.
I'll take that as a yes. Bye-bye. Continue, Gemini.
It explains a lot in our DMs and stuff, but I don't know if I want to talk about it here right now.
I mean, talk about it. You're more than welcome to. Otherwise, I'll just cycle you. You can feel free to share whatever it is you want. Do you want me to say it?
You can go ahead. Yeah.
Planet Peterson was wanting you to call him Professor. Is that what you're referring to?
That, and he's been manipulating me in our DMs.
Yeah.
No way. That is wild. I'm so sorry.
I can't tell if you're being sarcastically surprised, Kenzie.
No, I'm sorry. I know my tone was really weird. I was just like, I didn't expect that. And so no, I really like that. That really is so awful. Like, I really am very sorry.
Now I feel uncomfy.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean
No,
to.
no, no, no.
No, not you. Not you. Not
Yeah,
you.
no, I appreciate you sharing it. Let me drop you on down. I'll bring someone else up so you can get a moment to recover from that. Guys, I think we're just at this point asking a general question. Why is it so hard for folk to just like give it time for people who are bringing allegations to like share what's going on? Because everyone jumped to Nixie's defense. Everyone jumped to say he's a good guy. Everyone jumped to say, I love his content. Everyone jumped to say, he's never done anything like that to me. There were lives being held today where guys were asking women who knew him, did Nixie ever do this to you? And that's so fucking stupid and tone deaf. Just because a guy doesn't schmexually harass like 10 women he knows doesn't mean he hasn't schmexually harassed the other 10. It's not like every guy, for example, who's like a grapist, grapes every woman he knows. So the fact that he hasn't graped 9 out of 10 people doesn't mean he didn't do what he did. And there's just been some horrible victim blaming and some horrible language and justifications going around defending Nixie that I don't think anyone should be tolerating. And that Baron Rutledge moron and some guy named Gen X were guilty of the most egregious victim blaming and some of the most egregiously stupid arguments that I've heard when it pertains to these type of allegations. And I think it would just be helpful if people don't just swipe by when they see a live with over 100 people in it, where the host and his friends are engaging and perpetuating these sort of grape culture myths. It's disgusting. What's up, Starwalker?
Well, I got something to say about the whole issue. Like I said, I don't follow none of the three, never have, because they look like weirdos to me anyway. And like I said, the thing with Planet Peterson, just listening to the remarks about to the kids and everything else, it's we don't know these people. All we know each other by is by content. Anything that goes on after the content, we have no idea. So you can't put faith and give people your information to reach you whenever they think they can. That's my thing about it. Because like I said, it makes no sense to put yourself in a predicament to talk to somebody outside of the content about anything.
I will say, as much as I understand where you're coming from, that puts some of the blame on the victims because they believe that they're making friends and that maybe they have a little crush on and maybe this will go somewhere or maybe whatever. Like I did talk to Nixie off the app, but it didn't go anywhere. I didn't, whatever. That didn't happen to me.
Yeah. But that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because maybe he thought that he could do something or try something, but your personality said he backed off.
Right, but that also means the people that did fall victim to him, they're not weaker or anything. They just fell victim.
My thing is, you just need to put a whole list out. Everybody needs to trim the fat, get these people off of your screens.
Well, at least he took his own trash out.
I think it's important to like, part of what you're saying, I do strongly agree with it. I want to like echo, which is y'all don't know shit about me. You don't know shit about Kenzie. You don't. I'm sorry. You all think you know creators. You don't have a clue who any of us all are. There's this horrible parasocial thing that happens on TikTok, but I'm sure a lot of social media, where you start to like what someone is saying online, and all of a sudden you think you know everything about them. You don't know any of us. You think you do, you don't. Even the people who know me, quote unquote, they don't know me. They don't know anything about my family. They don't know anything about my past. They don't know anything about my exes. They don't know anything about anything whatsoever. They know a side of me. And people need to really start respecting, don't go to bat for someone because you only know 10% of who they are. And that's what I'm pissed off about in these situations is the guys who keep defending these three guys keep coming up and saying, but he's a good guy. I know him. You don't. You never know him. You never know like what these guys are doing. And so like you got to respect the fact that like TikTok is like only showing you a tiny sliver of who an individual is. And if you're a creator, they're only showing you the good stuff.
Yep.
And so you got to stop giving this benefit of good faith to people just because they've managed to create a popular forum and platform on TikTok, because if anything, that could strongly suggest they're good professional manipulators or they're narcissists. Like TikTok, social media, developing those big platforms is very strongly associated with people who have narcissism. And so it's not a vouch of good faith that someone has a very large platform. That doesn't mean anything. And so, yeah, including me. So Civil, this is why whenever anyone makes allegations against me and my friends go to defend me, I always tell them, just because I've defended people in the past or just because I've done good things in the past doesn't mean that the next allegation may not be true. And that I don't want my supporters ever going into a live saying Irish would never do that. That's not how you should be acting.
Sorry to cut you off, but a bunch of people brought to my attention. They think I'm still a mod for this account, but my last account got banned. They want Saint Nick, who's antagonizing a bunch of people, including Jorge, to get muted.
You can take care of it.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I thought everyone was modded. Yes, including me. I think like people need to like really be okay with their friends questioning them. That doesn't mean your friends don't like you. That doesn't mean that they don't support you. It just means they're open to the idea that you could also be a bad person. And that openness is so critical for allowing bad people to be exposed. Because if we don't have that openness, we're going to defend all our friends and nobody's going to be held accountable. And that's what happens.
But one thing, a good friend is always going to check you when you're wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, very strong point.
But that's all I had to say, man. It's just like a lot of the people that I follow, and I've been seeing this stuff on the screen, man, and it's been really disturbing. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have one of the best personalities when I'm dealing with just craziness. And then everybody that I've come to know that come to my lives or I interact with them in their lives, it aggravates me. It's to a point now that, like I said, all three of them look like pedos to me. I mean, that's something I can tell you.
So given the fact that I'm being told that I'm peddling false information, I want to say that I have no evidence whatsoever that any of these guys are P-Tritios. What I do have evidence of, they all have the face of a bad, slimy, creepy dude.
Yeah.
Like, I will say that.
Yeah. Clowns without paint on the face. It's exactly what you got. But look, y'all have a good one, man. Like I said, I'm gonna sit back and just sit in the comments.
Appreciate you coming on up.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks.
Good to see you, Star Walker.
No.
Because I know where you were coming from with Star Walker, the victim blaming part of it. But I think his bigger point was like, we all just don't know people. And like, there's like another live we should do, which is where the parasocial relationships can get toxic and scary. Cause like that's a whole other live. But I agree that it would make it would be conflating issues and people would think there's victim blaming going on. And there's no right for any of these guys to abuse parasocial relationships to do horrible things. And that seems to be what Nixie is primarily being charged with, right? He seems to be taking advantage of potentially parasocial or just social relationships and abusing his platform for his own sexual benefit. And that's like, that doesn't have to be illegal for people to be disgusted by it and say, you don't deserve to have 1 million followers. You don't deserve to have a social platform. For the love of God, can we not just have better people be the influencers?
I want to talk about one thing that we see often when it comes to you finding out that somebody that you're close with or uh, uh, is turns out to be not the nicest person, especially on your TikTok. People sit there, especially men, for some reason, decide to say, you know what, I just disassociate myself with them, and I just don't talk to them anymore. I don't think that's the right move. I personally do not think that is the right move. I am not going to disassociate myself with them. I'm going to have them disassociate themselves with me by going at them over and over and over again until they're tired of hearing me telling them exactly how bad of a person they are. Disassociating yourself with them, disassociating yourself with someone who is exhibiting this kind of behavior, and you were cool with them, and you just completely detaching from them, that's not going to do anything to them. That's not going to do absolutely a thing to them. But if somebody who they had in their ear, who they trusted at one point in time, is going at them until they're tired of hearing from you, that might do a little bit more. So I don't agree with just disassociating with somebody as a method of you know what, this is why I'm a good person, because I no longer talk to this person.
Yeah, agreed. I think, I don't really understand why it is people are so scared of accountability. Like, it's really not that painful to have someone just simply say, you messed up. And like, Jorge did it himself. Now, I think Jorge was not great with the language he was using, right? But Jorge was able to say, when he was talking about Wasabi, Jorge was able to say, you know what, I got a little emotional. And he flipped something that could have gone really bad for him into, a bit of a nothing burger, where he was able to be like, yeah, I did act emotionally, and I did call you a liar, and I shouldn't have done that. That's accountability. That's it. It can be a slap on the hand, but when you don't take the slap, it's going to escalate into something really bad.
Right.
Do you think
I
Peterson's
think
in
it was
here?
very big of him.
There's been a couple of fake accounts that seem to be Peterson. Yeah, why?
I think Gina17 is one of them.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, Jorge, I mean, I didn't know who Jorge was 3 weeks ago, but I've definitely seen Jorge in my Peterson lives more than a couple of times, because there's so many people in a live that you don't recognize names. Jorge I recognized, and I knew him to be someone who was not supportive of my of what I was exposing. But he seemed to have listened today, and he seemed to have been open to being wrong. And that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day, is people to be open to hearing. So, I don't know if Wasabi wants to come back up, because I don't want to undermine what she was saying. But Jorge seemed to at least be trying to listen, whereas the guys on that other panel were just disgusting and deplorable and so
He-
fragile.
Sorry, I was just saying he didn't have his ego in it like they did.
I mean, he had a very strong reaction to Wasabi that wasn't, justified. But so I wouldn't say he didn't have as much an ego, for damn sure.
No, that's fair.
To anyone who's saying Planet is awesome, Planet said that a woman who's had more sex than he agrees with is being run through like public transportation. Planet Peterson has said that if a black person doesn't want a white person using the N-word, that the black person is racist. Planet Peterson has said that he's upset because Mexican people can say the N-word and Polynesian people can say the N-word, but not him. Planet Peterson has been found to have multiple MINORs in his server that he lied about and hid. Planet has also in his server men who he credibly believed was a were P Treatios. There was multiple of them. And he refused to remove them because he believes in free speech, even though he will block and ban anyone who says anything negative about him. And he also bullied MINORs, knowing they were MINORs. And so far, Blitz defended all of this at first, and he's still defending it, but he's admitting now that certain facts were true. Blitz admits there were people who self-reported as P Treatios. Blitz admits there were MINORs in the server. Blitz admits that Peterson and his friends bullied the MINORs. Blitz admits that Peterson should apologize, but that, quote unquote, it's not in Peterson's character to apologize. Like, is that not the definition of narcissism? An inability to apologize? And Nixie, for those just joining, has been accused of essentially, I don't know if any other person up here wants to give me better language, but I would say exploiting and taking advantage of his influencer status in order to lure women onto Snapchat, where he would escalate the conversation sexually and then get angry and penalize those women when they did not reciprocate. That's what I've heard generally be the allegations.
Arish, I'm gonna drop down for Tito because apparently he thinks that you're just jealous of them and he's in the box.
Yeah, I'm not going to bring up someone who wants to derail it about me. Like, guys, I'm a horrible person. I've never said I'm not a horrible person. Like,
That
whether
was
or
the
not,
longest. Sorry, go ahead.
But Kenzie's hungry.
I'm always hungry. Yeah, so I would just say he was obviously leveraging his position of power to exploit women for sexual purposes.
yeah, and I feel like as someone who's been a creator for a while, he knows what that power is. Like, because like at first you don't really understand that you have power. I can understand, but like he's got 750,000 followers. He knows that with that comes influence and that people are going to be more willing to do things. He also knows that they're going to be less willing to say no. He also knows that they're going to be less willing to speak up. And that's where it becomes problematic, in my opinion. We're talking about Nixie, Professor Nixie. And to the person, what's his name? Who's in the comments?
Tito.
Tito, if you'd like to come back for a live tomorrow where you want to tell everyone about me and call me a coward and whatever it is you want to say, I'll happily do a live tomorrow. I'm just not letting you derail this live. Simple as that.
Hold on. The only reason I said that is because that was the last comment. We may actually want to talk about them because he's talking about the truth. So it may be something else altogether.
Sure, Tito, re-request then. If Kenzie wants to talk to you, I'll let Kenzie talk to you. Who can drop for Tito to join? Oh, Ernesto's gone.
Now, a comment said that this is supposed to be a safe space for women. Did I misread the room?
Hello.
Talking about Nixie's lives, he would always say how it's a safe space for women, and he wants to promote more women in science and all that stuff. So that's the lies he was spreading.
Well, someone said that in the comments that this live. Oh, Nixie's a safe space.
Yeah,
Okay,
Nikki was
gotcha.
just adding to what was said. I know her.
So, Tito, you wanted to talk to Kenzie?
Yeah, what,
I'd rather talk to you.
Oh, you're talking to me. Okay, what are you talking about?
Well, basically, I want to just say that Peterson and these guys are very bad people. I've never seen them, heard them, or whatever. You've done a good job of showing the pictures, the videos, the voices, the recordings, but it seems to me that the way you portray yourself, you're jealous because you keep mentioning 1 million followers on multiple times when you are talking about this guy. And maybe you would like that kind of following, obviously, because you have
yeah, I don't
a
think
great.
Irish cares about following count. Next.
Well, I think he does because I was talking to him. And
I don't. Wait,
why
what are you?
why
You're
would he
basing
mention
that
that?
on.
Why would he mention that? You know
If
what I
you
mean?
show what social power
But
they
I was
have.
talking to
Getting
Irish,
banned all the
though.
time.
But I was,
Wait,
thank you,
guys,
honey.
guys,
But I
guys,
was,
hang on.
but I was
Tito,
talking to
yeah,
Irish.
Tito, Kenzie answered it quite appropriately, right? The reason is
So
due to
Kenzie,
social
so Kenzie
power.
pays your bills. Kenzie knows how
Yes,
you.
she
I
does.
thought you said no one knows
Yeah,
who
yeah,
you
and this
really
fucking
are.
mommy. Okay, what,
I
what,
didn't think
you
any.
got a
I thought you
problem?
said. I thought you said no one knows who you really are, Irish. So that's why I'm talking to you.
Kenzie does that.
Damn, Kenzie, I want you to be
Oh,
my.
okay. Yeah. All right. Sure.
So
Anyway.
Tito, Kenzie gave the answer I would give, which is the reason why that's relevant is it goes into the power dynamic.
So again, you're saying someone does know about you, and you said no one knows about you, right?
Tito, can you keep it focused, sweetheart?
I mean, I'm focusing. I also focused that you were on Echoes Live and Raw Reel, and you said you'd pass it on to them, but you continuously go live and talking about it. That means you have no integrity.
Okay,
You're
great. I have
jealous.
no integrity.
You're obsessed because he's not deplatformed yet. It's funny. The guy's a piece of shit. Yeah, I agree. And everybody else that follows, and anybody that wants to talk to children are horrible people and deserve to be in jail. Or
But you're
Bro,
upset that
do
I didn't
you
stop.
like call out creators? Oh, okay, bye.
Ernesto dropped him, not me.
I feel like
What
that
was that?
Joe, and he's like a big troll in these spaces. That's who it sounded like to me.
Okay, yeah. So the reason why I went down, yeah, I kicked you, Tito, because I said that it was about this, and then you're just continuing on about something ridiculously irrelevant to the whole point of this live. So yeah, I kicked you, Tito. If you have a problem with that, go ahead and DM me because hashtag no DMs. I'm not going to reply, so it doesn't matter. All right.
Ernesto like serves me a plate of food and like here's a snack and then just like fucking hits it out of my hand.
But was it really? I mean, it was spoiled.
Oh.
That meal was spoiled.
He like held
I don't
up
think
the
you want
bite
that.
and then ate it in front of you.
Well, it's just I wanted to give you a meal that you were going to actually enjoy. That was just it was like I don't know. It was all kale.
Wait, who's Buzzy? Because someone just gave the most lovely compliment. It's because of
Buzzy B.
Kenzie, Atina, Buzzy, and Good Trouble that I found self-confidence for the first time. That's such a lovely compliment. Who's Buzzy though? I never heard of Buzzy.
You know Buzzy.
You know
No,
Buzzy.
No, I don't. What are you guys talking about?
You
Yes,
don't know
do.
Buzzy?
Who the fuck
You
is
do.
Buzzy?
I guarantee
You've
you
been
do.
on live. You've been on lives with her.
You've been on. Well, his memory
Her.
is the best, but
I don't know where.
What's her username? I've never heard of this. Why does everyone know
Buzzy
Buzzy?
B.
he's Buzzy Little Bumblebee.
Wait, does she have the bumblebee in her thing? As her PFP?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know her. I haven't seen her in ages though. Got it. Okay. So if there's anyone else in the comments who'd like to come on up, like I just feel like the point of this live is, this was ad hoc. This was thrown together at the last second. There's a couple of things. If you're going to be doing bad things and you get caught doing it, just accept you did it. Just say, you know what, I fucked up. That was wrong of me to do it. Sort of like what Jorge did. Jorge was calling Wasabi a liar, which I think was out of pocket. And he was able to admit, you know what, I got emotional, my bad. And by taking accountability, this shit goes away. Now, I'm not talking about issuing a false fake apology. Like, that doesn't do anything whatsoever. But just recognizing that you did step out of line and now reeling it back and recognizing that that was inappropriate, validating the person who you harmed, and then moving on. As for, yeah, Amy, the false sex claims was Blitz was going into people's DMs saying that I was masturbating to minors, which was a wild claim to be making. I can't believe he put it in writing, to be honest with you. But, you know, I just really think that we need to like hold influencers to a higher standard because of the power that they do have. I do think it's helpful to call them out. And I think the good creators, good influencers are not going to get personally offended or triggered or so egomaniacal that when they're called out, that they won't simply take it as a slap on the hand. Like Deep Sky, I don't know. You seem to be a bit of a bigger creator. Have you had people try to hold you accountable? Like, how do you normally process it? Do you try to like listen, or like, have you noticed how you take accountability is different than other guys that we're talking about right now? Do you notice any differences at all?
Well, I mean, I've been on TikTok since, like 2019. The wife said, you've got to have one. I was already on YouTube and other platforms just doing astronomy outreach. So I came here with the same mindset I've had on all the socials, which is just to promote astronomy and science, and that's it. There comes times where you deal with trolls, you deal with and you've dealt with it. I know you have. You deal with everything. So, you kind of learn the road to navigate as you're sort of just putting what you're doing out there. What my friends told me that Nixie in particular did disgusted me. It made me sick. Even being up here, this is kind of hard for me because, I've been shaking all day. I haven't had anything to eat since I woke up. I've been doing this. But I told every one of those people that came to me that I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just tell me when I need to do whatever you want me to do. And they said, thank you. All I need is your support and everything else. Okay, you have my support. That's why I'm here. So, the way I run my social media is, here's my content. Thank you for your compliments. I really do appreciate those people that listen to my music, download my stuff, whatever. But that's obviously not the way some of us in this community have behaved, is what I learned over the past months. Okay. So, and out of respect for the victims, and like I said, some of them had said I could name them. I'm not going to do that. Their words speak for themselves. All I'm here to tell you is that multiple women came to me and told me what happened to them. And many of them provided evidence. But I'm not going to I don't give other people's evidence away. I'm just here to vouch for what I've been told. And I'm someone who knew Nixie. We participated in lives together. We did moon lives, simultaneous moon lives. Several of my friends who are here in this chat. We shared each other's videos. He shared my music on his videos, and I reposted those videos. And what sickens me the most is I can't right now, because he removed his TikTok, I can't go unrepost all those things. Now I know you probably can't see them since he deleted everything or whatever. But I'm telling you right now, I'm assuming he's going to be back in about 30 days because when you deactivate your TikTok, you get 30 days to reinstate it before you lose all those followers. And that's, that 700,000 follower count number, that person that was complaining about it earlier, that Irish brought that up. He obviously brought that up to use that because Nixie, particularly, it appears that he used that number to influence people to interact with him on an app that lets him know when you screenshot stuff. And that's exactly what happened. And I've seen the evidence. I've talked to many of the victims. So I know I just ranted a little bit. I'm gonna stop.
The difference is Deep Sky Dude doesn't steer people off app and has integrity. That's the difference.
I will steer you to my Spotify or my YouTube, but it's not so that you can message me there. It's so you can go watch the other type of stuff that I'm doing. Yes, yeah, and yeah, I don't know.
I just want to first of all apologize to Wolfie. I love you dearly, but I needed to bring up Steph. And Steph, you had questions. I just want to reiterate though what it seemed like a lot of people were coming at you hard. I understand you're asking questions, which is fine. Just understand that maybe how you ask the questions may be triggering or invalidating. But you had questions, so if you'd like to, feel free to ask them. Feel free.
Hey, yeah. I just happened upon this live, so this is the first time I'm hearing about any of this with Nixie. Excuse me. And that's kind of what my question was around. I wasn't rude. I just said, hey, so what has Nixie done? Like, what is he being accused of? Those were my questions. That's not invalidating, and that's not coming at anybody.
I wasn't
And
necessarily
and
saying
I'm
you
not
were.
asking for details or the names of people. I just want to know like what's going on. I have followed Nixie. I was actually mutuals with him, and yeah, I mean, I would like to know what's going on. And I was literally trying to figure it out. And then every time I asked a question, I would get 10 tags about how, oh, you just be thankful it's not you. I mean, it's just like the dramatics is like insane.
Steph, I can tell you that there are multiple victims that are present. Okay, so I know you're interested in seeing receipts.
Yeah. The receipt,
Okay,
Isabel.
listen.
That's what I'm
yet.
asking for.
I'm not done
Proof.
yet. The receipts things, you don't have no right to that access because you're not one of the victims. Now, if one of the victims wants to give you access to those receipts and their experience, that's up to them. You
So
don't
then why
get to
are if
demand
okay? So
receipts when people are being victimized by someone that they know and trust.
So then how are you coming up here and telling victims stories if they're not like I don't
Because
understand
they're
this whole
afraid,
live.
Steph. They don't want to provoke this guy. Okay, they're afraid of him. Wouldn't you be?
Let
No,
me wind it back a
I
moment.
wouldn't be.
Steph, there was a live today with about 200
Are you fucking
people in it.
crazy?
Steph, there was a live today with about 200 people in it. A lot of them were STEM people. And
Okay.
they were in there saying, we want to learn more information. We have, and Shubidi, I know we have the clips, it's just not necessary, but we had 4 or 5 people join that panel to give information. All 4 or 5 were dropped. Most of them were mocked. Most of them were dismissed. When people tried to give information, they were demanding more information than what they should otherwise be entitled to. They were putting forward a higher standard of evidence than what should be required, like saying things like innocent until proven guilty. We need evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. And, if I was a woman who had had an issue with Nixie, I would not feel very comfortable at all going live and talking about Nixie whatsoever. I would feel very intimidated right now. And that's why his larger platform matters. Because when you have a large platform, it does come with a lot of, I don't know, I guess clout, a lot of protection, a lot of power, a lot of influence, because there's an implied threat that if you do anything against someone who's got a bigger following, all hell's going to be let loose. And I got to be honest, that's what I've seen.
Plus, you're a stranger. You don't need
Coming
strangers'
to
evidence.
defend.
Look,
Yeah, and the way that
I'm not
you're
asking for
certain
straight up
questions in
like
the Steph,
I
Steph,
said.
You asked for receipts.
Steph, 1 second. And respectfully, the type of questions you are asking, like this one here. So how did Nixie exercise control over someone on Snapchat? Seems kind of tone deaf. Because the exercising control, nobody's saying he forced people to do things. What they're saying is he was in a position of influence and power over people, that he took advantage of that that he exploited that, and that he tried to coerce people into doing things by emotionally guilting them and then getting angry at them when they didn't give him what he wanted. What word would you prefer to use? Because when I'm reading what you said here, it sounds like you're the one exaggerating, because I know no one up here said Nixie controlled these women. No one up here said that. You exaggerated the claim and then asked people to defend the claim or explain a claim no one up here made. You're mute.
People made the claim that it was a power dynamic.
It is.
So I'm just kind of trying to figure out, how did that come up? Like, what kind of
How many victims need to speak up before you'd believe
I
it?
haven't heard anything. This is the first time I've heard of it.
I'm asking
I'm
you a
not
question.
saying that nobody is lying. I'm not
listen.
saying anybody's lying.
So then be
How
quiet
many
and
would it
listen.
take?
Huh?
How many would it take?
Guys,
I don't care. Listen, I'm not trying to hear all that. I just want to know what happened, and I want to know, like, was there a crime committed? Or do you guys just come up on social media and say whatever the fuck you want to say about whoever? And
Sweetheart,
nobody
I think
has a right
that's
to ask
you.
a question.
No, that's
Well,
what the host just did.
That's not like, please don't act like you're the one with good intention here, and
Well,
we're
I
the
do
one
have a
who.
good intention.
No, you don't.
I just
You came
don't, I
up
just
here.
don't
No,
listen to
no,
what
you
everybody
don't.
has to say
Don't
and just
pretend
blindly
that you
believe
are
it
the
without asking
virtuous
my
one.
questions.
The
When
I
things
cannot
don't make
believe
sense
that.
to me,
I
I
cannot
ask
believe
fucking
that
questions.
men.
Period.
I
Hang on one
cannot
sec.
believe
Oh,
that
wait,
men.
Kenzie, 1
Go
second.
ahead.
Russ, I
So
actively want to
if
talk to
we're
you.
if
Russ,
we're
Russ, Russ, I actively
if
want
we're
to
here
talk
for
to
the
you.
truth,
Russ,
Russ,
I'm going
you've
to
got
keep
to give him a
muting
chance
you.
to speak first. He will
Russ,
give you a moment. He will
yeah.
give you a moment.
no,
Russ,
he already.
Russ, I will drop everyone in about 5 minutes and it'll be you and me one-on-one. Okay? Just let
That's a great
Kenzie
idea.
finish what she's saying.
Yeah, that's not a.
Russ,
Already
Go
what,
ahead,
what
Kenzie.
you just it's look, I know you want to get what you set out. See, you gave Steph the opportunity to run off.
No, she's asking a question, and you guys don't want to fucking answer it
She's not
because
asking
you
a
don't have
question.
the answers. You don't have.
Russ, what was her
She
question?
is asking
Russ,
for
what was her
things
question?
that she. One sec. She's asking for things that she is not entitled to. She is not here to ask questions to understand. She's here to demand things, and it's stop. And she
Russ,
has
stop
two men
interrupting. It's not that hard.
who need to explain to her what like rape culture and what the power dynamic that a male
saying rape
influencer is
culture.
exerting over women. Like, give me a fucking break.
Stop saying rape. Hey,
Russ,
get your pussy ass moderator.
Russ, please stop with your insults. You're not equipped for this discussion, okay? You don't know what grape culture is. You're the face of grape culture, but you don't know what.
You don't even know. You're gonna sit here.
Angry and upset with people.
You're gonna sit here and lie to all these
I'm
fucking
gonna sit here
people
and do
about
it.
a live stream that you were in and how it fucking shook down. No, fuck you,
Who am I
Irish.
lying about? Who am I lying about,
You
Rusty?
just fucking over-exaggerated what the fuck happened in Bear and Rutledge's live.
How did I over-exaggerate, sweetheart?
Because you said that everybody over there was demanding a higher level of fucking proof and innocent until proven
Correct.
guilty, and nobody fucking said that. Nobody
multiple
said
people
that.
did.
You
Multiple
fucking
people
made it
did.
up. You made
Multiple
it up,
people
you
did,
lying
Russ.
fuck.
Hey,
I
Russ,
can corroborate that Irish is correct. Multiple people said that.
I was there and they
We're
were
just
asking for more
for
proof,
some.
Russ.
None of you, Irish, you don't have any of the fucking shit that I read from two of these fucking women.
Okay, 2 of
Because
17,
if you
correct?
did, you wouldn't be sitting here talking about
Russ,
rape
2 of
fucking
17,
culture.
correct? Russ, 2 of 17, correct?
2 of 17? Where'd the
Russ, hang on, guys. Everyone stop
where'd the
muting
other
him for a
8
moment.
come from?
Who's muting?
Where'd
Guys,
the
I
other
can
8
mute
come from
Russ.
since yesterday fucking morning?
So let me, hang on, Russ. Russ, I just want to be clear.
No. You've already
Russ,
proven to
if
be a
you're
lying
gonna
piece of...
listen, if you're going to come up here to talk about the allegations, I'm happy to have a discussion. But your head right now looks like a billiard ball. You're so fucking red and out of breath.
Because
So
you're
what I
lying.
need you to do is use those fat cheeks of yours to take a big deep breath, calm yourself down, and emotionally regulate. You're not a toddler, even though you've got the face of a baby. Let's have a discussion.
Dude,
Do you
I
think
would
you
push.
can do that? Do you think you can use your words, sweetheart? Do you think you can do that? Yes?
Do you think you're in some sort of fucking power over this whole?
It's a yes or no, Cupcake. Do you think you can have a conversation with the big scary man, or do you need to keep
You're
yelling?
not scary.
Great. So let's have a conversation,
Okay.
right? Great. You just
so
got a
by all
violation.
means-
Hang on, Russ. You just got a violation. Would you like to drop and come back, or would you like to wait until your account is back?
No, fuck this app and fuck you. I'm not saving your fucking live stream so you can lie
How
for your
are you
fucking
saving
feet.
it? How are you
Such
saving
He's not saying, he's asking if you want to
self-control.
continue the conversation.
I'm
All you have
asking
to
you
do
to
is
save
I
leave
am
your
and then
account.
come
continuing
back.
it. I
No,
am
I'm asking.
continuing
No,
it.
hang on,
Hold
Russ. I'm trying to help you out, right? You just got
Dude, I've been on this app longer than you. I know how it works. Yeah. You want to
Russ,
make your
all
fucking
he's
point?
saying, Russ, if I could, all he's saying
You're not
is,
helping.
if I could,
Well,
hold on.
Ernesto.
If I could,
Ernesto,
Russ,
stop.
I'm sorry,
Ernesto,
but if
stop.
I could,
Ernesto,
I don't
stop.
care what you're not
Ernesto,
running
stop.
this live.
I don't give a
All
fuck.
he's asking you to
I don't
do
give a
is if you want to continue having
TikTok
this
hasn't
conversation
removed
here.
me yet.
Right. So that's what he's saying. What he's saying is if you want to continue this conversation before it
Iris,
actually removes you, you can leave
Wasting
and
time.
come back.
Iris, just
It
kick him.
affects your
Just kick him.
life.
He's gonna get the live.
He
Yeah.
can come back if he really is in earnest. Go take a fucking Xanax, Russ.
Here's what I would challenge any of the people. Okay, if there's allegations that are made that are false, if someone's being targeted for a bad reason, I'm not going to hide of that whatsoever, right? So if there's anyone here who'd like to join and actually ask questions in a calm manner without being rude and invalidating, I invite you to come up. But try not to look like a red cabbage like he was, completely unhinged the entire time. Come up and have a conversation. Don't be yelling your asses off.
Irish, this was the guy yesterday that went off on I Spaced Out about the timing of people coming forward with this information. So he just has there's no rational thought there from what I can surmise. Just seeing how he behaves in lives, he's not interested in a conversation. You saw that at the end. He's just yelling, constantly talking over people. So he's just purely from an emotional standpoint. He's grandstanding, trying to look like a daddy bear or something. But it falls flat, and everybody sees.
Yeah, just a reminder for those in the comment: don't report people on the live because that will actually hurt the. This was not probably the case because he came up in the camera just flicking people off. So
Yes.
the algorithm may have actually done was the one that flagged him. But in the comments, just don't bother flagging. Let Irish and the moderators take care of the people on the panel.
Also,
when it comes to things like that.
Also, I missed something, and Claire brought it up. Thank you. He was screaming at a direct victim who was in a live. He was screaming and cussing her out. So there's that.
Yeah, because guys, the thing is, do you think that guy just helped Nixie at all? Because in my opinion, he just made Nixie look worse. So if you're going to come up here in order to defend any one of these guys, how you comport yourself, how you try to use reason and logic to be able to respond to these allegations, it matters. But so far what we've had is Nixie delete his account and run, and then a whole bunch of unhinged 50-year-old dudes come up shouting at the women who are making the allegations. That's not a good look. And I get it's not all about I'm not talking about from a PR standpoint or something like that. Just a pure optic standpoint.
What does Russ mean by "don't ever let me find you"? What do you mean by that, Russ?
You're not the tough guy, my guy. You're not the tough guy.
Are
Stop
you
trying to put
seriously
on this act.
You're gonna make a threat like that online? I didn't even do anything to you. I'm just observing and reporting your behavior. You yelled
Don't
at one
let
of the
me
victims.
find you.
Yeah, what does that mean? Don't ever let me find you. Please elaborate in the chat.
Russ, you're way too soft in order to be threatening or scary. Like, you need to look in a mirror, my guy. The only thing you'd be scary to is a young child. Like, you're not intimidating. Like, calm down. You're the type of guy who brags about taking karate lessons, okay? You're the type of guy who's got like a sword over his bed and thinks he's like capable, like killer. Like, you're just a sad, pathetic dude. Like, just really get to know what you really come off as. You look like you're like
And
one hamburger away from a fucking heart attack.
and
Relax.
why attack me? Why say I have nothing but an unbiased opinion? I was approached by multiple women that confided in me and said, please don't tell anyone, but this is what happened. Why am I an unbiased opinion? Because I'm sharing what I was told. And no, I'm not going to tell you who the victims were, because that would be worse somehow. It's not your right to know who they were. They came to me in confidence, and I'm sharing my story now. When they're comfortable, they will share theirs, and many of them already have, and it's already on TikTok. You just haven't seen the videos yet.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I'm actually a 50-year-old unhinged man. I'm kidding. I just want to say hi, Kenzie. I really love all your videos, and I support and follow you all the time. I actually do follow these three guys, and my question is, because this is the first time I think I'm hearing about it, and I definitely don't want to be a follower of people that are accused of doing these kinds of things. I guess my question is,
Reported me.
I'm sorry?
Someone just flagged me for something.
I think that was an automatic response to the meme you put up because it looked like a pew pew, not a finger.
Oh, you may
Go
want
ahead,
to,
Sal.
yeah, you want me to just drop down for a minute?
Yeah, actually, drop down and come back. I'll bring you back up. Go ahead, Sal.
Yeah, so my question was, these allegations that were brought up against them, were they, are they like public, like online,
There was a
or
couple
were
of
they
women
just
who
the ones?
were.
Yeah.
There were a couple of women in here earlier today. So first of all, they apparently a number of women have spoken to Deep Sky. One of the women came to me and told me about what it is that happened, and then on this live, I believe it was two women who joined. One of the women who came up gave a pretty good summary of what appears to be most of the allegations, which is that he invites women from TikTok to go to Snapchat, that he does so under the pretense that he's able to share like photos of his photography, and that slowly over time that will flip from him sharing photos of him with his telescope to him with his shirt off with his telescope to then getting more and more sexual. And that when that woman didn't bite and didn't want to respond sexually or give sexual photographs back, that he got very angry with her and expressed his disappointment in her. That was the one allegation that was brought up here. And let me be clear, nobody's saying that's criminal. Nobody's saying that that's something that someone should be unalived for. I personally think it's really creepy and emotionally manipulative, pathetic, harmful, kind of just like sad behavior that someone should not do. But I don't think anyone's calling it criminal. So that's one of the allegations that one of the women made on this specific live.
Gotcha. And that's Nixie?
That did that to that Nixie
Yeah.
did, correct.
And Blitz, what's his, because I know I'm just reading, it says makes false sex claims. Is he also like making claims about, like, are you talking about he's making false sex claims about Nixie or about
Nope.
like
Blitz
himself?
Blitz has accused me of masturbating to children. He's accused me of having a sexual relationship with the woman to the right of you. And he's accused me of some other sexual crime I can't even remember right now. And he's done this in order to deflect from the fact that I was making allegations against Peterson. And I think that that's kind of reprehensible to weaponize SA in order to be able to defend someone. And that's exactly what he was doing.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. And I'm sorry, Mac, that happened to you. Thank you guys for informing me. Definitely appreciate that. This is like news, and you guys just popped up on my, well, you popped up because I follow Kenzie. So I was interested in the live to see like what the issue is for So I'll do my due diligence. And someone told me to watch your video, Irish, as well, to get more info. So I'll definitely do that as well.
Yeah, I've got
Sal,
multiple.
Thank you for the support, Sal.
Of course,
do you
love
recommend
Kinsey.
I follow? Do you recommend I follow her too? She have good content.
She actually has terrible content. A lot of this stuff. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, yeah, she has great content. Kenzie.
Kenzie's like the antithesis of me. I can't take a compliment. Kenzie just loves them.
I'm a Leo, bro. And when it comes from a man, given my man-hating reputation,
But yeah, Ernesto, I recommend following Kenzie. I always
No,
watch her live.
yeah,
I love
I
her
already follow.
shitting on men.
Sal, appreciate you coming up, man. I'll drop you on down. Feel free to rejoin if you have a specific question.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Okay. So let me show you accountability. Nick, who's claiming that this is all due to retaliation on my part because I've been accused. Nick, why don't you join? I'll give you an opportunity right now if you'd like. You could tell everyone anything you want about me and then explain how does anything I've done have anything to do with what these three guys have done. Nick, you're in the comments. Is there some reason why you don't want to join? This is now the third time I'm sending the invite, Nick.
Well, it's clearly because of all your science content.
To anyone who wants to like look at videos and figure out what's going on, yeah, I've got a 3.5-hour video. There is one on YouTube on Planet Peterson Exposed. Y'all aren't going to watch that. I highly recommend you look at the 3 pinned videos on this account. The first pinned video is a 5-minute video. And that 5-minute video gives you a synopsis of everything that Peterson did. I'll be doing a video on Blitz because I want to show how we wanted to do a live at some point showing how poorly men take accountability for their bad actions. And part of that would be showing Blitz trying to emotionally manipulate several women into condemning me and or no longer going after Peterson by using emotionally manipulative language that I'm sure he only uses towards women. And it's a very soft, subtle type of manipulation that Blitz was doing. And let me be clear, there's absolutely no schmexual allegations relating to Blitz. Don't get those confused. Please don't get those confused. More so, he has no problem trying to emotionally manipulate people and make false essay allegations and tell lies in order to protect his boy. And that's messed up, in my opinion.
Wait, Nick, Iris didn't say he made a claim that he did SA, like you're saying in the comments. That's not what Iris said. So were you not paying attention?
Astro, you've got a bit of an echo. What's up?
Oh, I didn't even mean to join. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No problem, Astro. That was cute. That was cute. That was really sweet, actually. Yeah, you know, to people saying that this is like not a big deal or something, I'm not saying people should be castrated because of this. But like, I do think like someone like Nixie, who's got 750,000 followers, should recognize he's got influence, should recognize that people are going to be more inclined to do things that he wants because of the fact he's got a big following. And that he should recognize that that's something he can therefore exploit. And that in this situation, he seemed to have been exploiting a whole bunch of women, taking advantage of them, and then getting angry at them when they didn't want to reciprocate. Castration's not off the table. And that's problematic. And the proper response shouldn't be what that ding-dong from the live earlier today did, which was, what the hell's his name? He's got such a stupid name.
Baron,
something. Yeah, whatever, Von Helsing or something. Baron dipshit, when he held a live where he basically just said, where he victim blamed, like apparently one of the allegations is that Nixie threatened one woman that he would release her nudes, and their response was, that's the fault of the woman for giving the nudes in the first place. They also made statements such as lying in order to get sexual things out of a woman is okay because most men in bars do that all the time.
They
That's not
endorsed revenge corn?
Oh, you didn't hear that? You weren't there for that part?
No.
Well, no,
my
They
they
tried to
also
walk it back, but they definitely did.
they did, and he was saying afterwards when I brought it up again, his claim was no, it's not okay, but then he would still put some of the accountability on the woman, even if they consensually sent that. If they actually sent a nude, and somebody uses it, it's partially their fault.
Men are just fucking brain dead. I'm sorry.
So when did all this like pop up? Because I remember, like, I've been sorry, I've been in and out of like TikTok. Like, when did this all just?
Well, it depends on what
recently,
you
or?
pop off. Peterson was 4 weeks ago. Blitz was was kind of 4 weeks ago as well, but really amplified in the past 2 to 3 weeks. And then Nixie was just in the past 24 hours. And it's just odd because prior to us learning about Nixie and prior to us seeing what Blitz was doing, people in Peterson's server were referring to the three of them as like a group. And it's just odd now seeing that all three of them are doing like really shitty things.
I'm just like completely shocked about Nixie, to be honest.